where you sit. I don't know what to tell you.
We're laughing because I always end up sitting here, which like this happens. Someone mentioned it. Actually, someone tweeted it out because apparently in the last tomorrow video that was kind of like this. I ended up like leaning in such a way that we need to not.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Is that better?
A little better.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi everyone.
Hi.
And welcome. Sorry, again, I can't use my normal tools until we have 1,000 subscribers, so I'm just kind of...
Everyone has to deal.
Y'all have to deal. Hopefully you can see and hear us okay. We got Brendan, hello. Good to see you. Alexandro, I believe. Do you need
Alejandro?
Alejandro, do you need to be closer and embiggenated?
I don't know. I'm fine.
So, here's the deal. We're in California. We're stuck in quarantine.
As most people should be.
As most people, yeah. Well, I mean, it's...
I'm just saying.
Like, we're young and agile. We'll probably be okay, but it's like...
We're young?
We're medium.
I don't know when that happened, but okay.
We're medium.
Great.
We're not young. We're not old. We're not young. Anyhow. For those watching on demand, I'm Jami Higginbotham. I'm transitioning into female. This is my beautiful, lovely, wonderful, talented wife, Cariann Higginbotham. Oh, it's been a while since you had that.
That crap is coming back.
Yeah, that crap is coming back.
Great.
Yeah. So we just thought it would be fun to create some content. Oh, Lisa's in the room. Poor Lisa. Lisa's in the same house as we are.
Lisa's
barely
really quarantined.
She's super quarantined.
She's in a room about this big.
I know, and I feel so bad for her. So she did a lot of international travel. She did a lot of domestic travel, and then she came down with COVID-like symptoms. And so she went and got tested last Monday, and we are still waiting for the test results. Yeah. So for those of you in America who seem to think that this will all be fine and that we'll be able to move quickly, we will not get those results until late in this next week, it sounds like.
Yeah. So
which means it will have taken 2 weeks.
No.
Yeah.
No, your math is off.
How so?
She got tested on Monday.
Yep. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay, that's not 2 weeks. 2 weeks is 14 days.
Okay, nearly 2 weeks.
She got tested on the 16th. For
so 12 out of 14 days.
Sheesh. It's like 10 days.
It was 12.
Okay, anyway.
Anyhow, 10 days. All right, fine. 10 days. 2 business weeks. Boom.
Fine.
2 business weeks
to get. Say, she got tested on the 16th.
The whole point is. The thing is.
Quarantine's going great.
Quarantine's going great. We don't know. Like she could have the coronavirus. She may not. She could be contagious. She may not. We have no idea. Yeah. So we have to treat it as if she has it. Even though I think she has the flu. I think she had the flu. I think she's fine now, right? I think she had influenza. I think she just did a bunch of travel and like just got a regular standard head cold. That's my theory. But like we need that thing that says, no, you're fine. You're not super contagious. Yeah. When you go out and interact with people, you won't kill people.
Right.
Right?
Right. Which is important for a number of different reasons. A, not killing people is important. But like B, you need to take responsibility for all those sorts of things. B, you in particular are relatively compromised.
Ish. Like,
yes.
I go back and forth on that. So I have a history of upper respiratory issues. I've had bronchitis and pneumonia more than this many times in my life, right? I mean...
I have to go take something. You keep talking.
Cool. I mean, the whole reason we have our Tesla is because I got pneumonia and I got stir crazy, which is happening again, by the way. I'm like looking up appliances. I'm looking up animals. Like, this is a whole big thing. So I get stir crazy and then I buy things. Anyhow, after the Crew Dragon reveal, like the big reveal where the big curtain came down and like the countdown and Elon hit the button, all that fun jazz. After that event, I had worked, it was 30 hours on, 4 hours off, 30 hours on, 4 hours off, 30 hours on the event. And then I collapsed, as you might expect. And when I collapsed, I'd given myself a pretty nasty case of pneumonia. I was out for a month, I want to say it was.
Yeah, something like that.
I was out for nearly a month.
It was bad.
It was really bad. So yeah, that sucked. So anyhow, I can just randomly give myself pneumonia. So
that's important.
But that was prior to transition.
Sure, but that doesn't take away your asthma.
Yes.
It doesn't.
So, well, yeah, but okay.
It doesn't.
So you're not wrong. It doesn't. But what happened was when I began transitioning in April of last year, I was, I never cared about my body before, so I was technically obese. Like my BMI was.
I like how you say technically. Like we were both obese.
Yeah, we were obese. Like a lot of people are like, oh, you weren't obese. I'm like, no, there's a technical classification of that.
Yes,
and we qualified for that.
There is, but you're making it sound like we were 1 pound over into the
no, we were well into obese.
Right. That's
no, we were well into
clear
obese.
about that. We both were.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was very unhealthy. I ate unhealthy. It was just, everything was bad. I didn't work out. And so for the last 11-ish months, although not so much these last few weeks because of shoulder issues, I've been I have not been working out. Hey, there's a Peloton right there. So I had been doing that pretty faithfully every single day, if not twice a day, getting anywhere between an hour to 2 hours in on the treadmill, which is in part how I lost so much weight so quickly. I was, literally working at it. But in doing that, you strengthen your upper respiratory system because you're sitting there and you're working out. And so I literally have been working for the last 11 months on strengthening my upper respiratory system. When I used to first jump on there, or at the gym, I would wheeze.
Yes.
That doesn't happen anymore.
I understand. That still doesn't take asthma away. It doesn't mean that asthma doesn't exist anymore. Your system is better.
Yes.
Also, on top of that, with my job, I come in contact with a lot of people.
Yes.
And so if I were to become infected, especially if I don't have symptoms and I go to work and then I infect a lot of other people, I could single-handedly take down the company I work for. Yeah. So it's really important that we all are treating Lisa with care and love and respect and quarantine. Just to be very clear. Yeah,
we have to treat her as if she's infected until we know for certain. Which
and
sucks for everyone involved, but especially her.
Lisa.
Because she's we have the rest of the house, right? We have this whole second floor. We have a chunk of space that we're quarantined in. Hang on, I'm pulling up the chat room.
Okay. But she doesn't. Joking, obviously the room isn't this big, but if it's 10 by 10, I'd be surprised. Thankfully, she's got a restroom down there, her very own full bathroom. So there's all that, and that's great. But I felt really bad because I guess my understanding is that she didn't realize that she could actually go outside. And there's a garden also about this big outside, but she's been maintaining that as much as possible. At least that kind of gets her to some sort of outside-ish area, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, that's just going to go there now. Anyway.
That help?
Yeah, it's great. In any case, so here we are, quarantine. So Jami and Lisa actually both have this tendency that when they are sick, because that's usually when you end up kind of in bed or in a quarantine kind of situation more often than not, that they both get a little stir crazy. Which is funny because I don't, and I'm the extrovert out of the three of us. I'm definitely the one who talks to people all day long. I'm the one who comes in contact with more people all day long.
I have to be doing something. I have to be making something, creating something, doing a project. I'm always, even I work at SpaceX and I have a space show and now I have my own channel while also transitioning into female.
Right.
I can't not do things.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me. So because I'm so people focused. So it doesn't faze me that I'm not doing something. It's because I know that when I'm not doing, I'm still helping people and I'm a helper. So there's that. So I think it's funny that you two are a little bit stir crazy and I'm very much so not. But
very stir crazy.
In the stir craziness, hence us going live on a Sunday morning, very randomly with no fanfare whatsoever, and very little planning.
No planning.
No, there was a tiny bit of planning.
Okay.
There was 5 minutes worth of planning.
5 minutes of planning.
Just saying.
We're going to tell stories.
Yes. And so Jami was asking for uplifting stories and asking me for uplifting stories and, some of my favorite stories, that kind of thing. And I tell stories all the time. That's just kind of...
You are a professional storyteller.
I'm not, but that's kind of what I do. and I realized that I don't have a lot of my own stories that I really love or find very uplifting. Like Jami on Tomorrow was sharing stories about different launches that she's seen and how meaningful they were to her. And I was like, oh yeah, that was a good story. But when asked to show my own story about anything, I really didn't think of anything. And she kind of razzed me a little bit, was like, maybe our wedding. And I was like, well, yeah. I mean, obviously that, but like
how we met, our wedding.
Okay, but we ended
up coming.
But the thing is, we've already done most of those stories. Why we love
Disney?
We've already done most of those stories, and we've done them for so long.
Do you guys know why we love Disney? Continue.
Okay, so that was the 5 minutes of planning. You basically have already seen it. So we said, fine, we'll do that. I said, but the deal is that I've already told our story, like our story. You asked me this last time, like, hey, why don't you tell everybody, how we got together?
Yep.
And I said, cool. And I did. And with lots of interruptions and lots of sidebars, because that's what I like to do. But I realized that one of the things that hasn't been told very often, almost never, is your version of that story.
The problem is, and I don't think I properly conveyed this in the car.
No, you did.
My story has become your story.
Right. So
right? I've heard it so many times from you. I'm just going to regurgitate that. But I will do my best to like add my flair back in from my side.
Right. That's the thing is that, and I joke that, I have become the storyteller of the two of us, and any one of our stories I have regurgitated so many times.
Okay.
For so many different reasons, because people ask, and no offense, but I'm the better storyteller. So then it becomes the official version of our story.
You are the better storyteller. Okay, so I will tell the how we met story.
Right.
I'm going to sidebar really quick because what I do.
Yeah.
I was this close to wearing makeup and a dress on camera today for the first time, and I just couldn't get over that mental hurdle. Like I can do it in private, but I'm not ready to do it in public.
Just give her a little bit more time.
A little more time. I'll get there.
Tiny bit more time in quarantine. She's going to go so stir crazy. She's going to do it. It's going to be great. Don't worry about it. Really soon.
I was close. I was really close. I thought I was going to be able to pull it off. I did. I like prepared this morning, and I just couldn't get over the mental hurdle.
It's okay.
Okay, so I'm going to tell the how we met story or met back up story. Well, no, I'll tell the whole how we met story.
How we met story.
You're going to tell the how we got married story.
Yes.
And which will also lead into why we love Disney.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So how we met. We actually, Lisa said, oh, this time tomorrow then.
Maybe.
Like at home.
She succumbs to peer pressure. It doesn't matter. Go on.
I do not.
Yes, you do.
Let me tell my story. That I was peer pressured into.
Right.
Okay, so it is the early and mid 90s, right?
Yes.
Let me set the stage. Early and mid 90s. I'm figuring out that I'm transgender, but like not accepting that at this time. Mm-hmm. At the same time, we are going to the same high school together. So we're back in Minnesota. Don't you know, you betcha. Get me. You thought it too.
Go on.
It's a Minnesota pickle.
Just don't look that up.
Look it up.
Don't.
YouTube?
No.
Gedney pickle song?
Okay.
Gedney Minnesota pickle song? You're welcome.
Anyway.
Oh, hello, Catherine. So we're going to high school at the same time. Mm-hmm. Now, we are both theater geeks, just in different ways, and in the exactly how you expect way. So I'm wearing all black. In high school I would wear all black
every single day.
Every day. Because
day.
I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna have to get pulled into theater. I knew exactly when I was getting pulled into theater. It was just, just wear all black.
It was a safe uniform.
It was a safe uniform, especially for me.
And especially, exactly as you're saying, especially at that time.
I was so uncomfortable in my own body.
I think I know why you were attracted to me, but go on.
Ooh.
Go on.
Oh, I want to know that. Okay. So
I have a theory.
So I'm doing theater, I'm doing band. Yes, I actually play a couple of instruments. Theater, band, and I headed up the video production club. I actually started the video production club in the high school.
People are shocked right now.
I know. Everyone's like, what? Oh, no, I can't believe that. So, so I'm doing all of this techie work behind the scenes. Cariann is she's not in band, but she's dating the band. All of it.
I got honorary band patches for that.
She's in choir.
Mhm.
She's also working hair and makeup
Mhm.
for our musicals and whatnot. And actually, you were in one. You were a flapper, weren't you?
I was in a couple.
Okay.
But
So
smaller productions.
right. So she was in the theater, but like more on / backstage, whereas I was on the other side. And I was never giving her enough light to be able to do the work she needed to do because it would spill out onto my stage.
Whatever.
So we're doing this, and I have a little bit of a crush on her, but like I am not able to mentally deal with any of that.
Mhm.
Like I'm socially way more awkward than I am now.
Here's a question that I don't know the answer to.
Yes.
Did you have a crush on anyone else?
Oh, yes.
Who?
I legit don't remember. No, I really don't.
Probably most of them blondes.
Actually, yes. I mean, I have a type.
Yeah, you do, which is why it's so
I know,
funny.
it's weird. It's weird. All three of the boys.
Yeah.
All three of us. Anyhow.
Yeah. I think I know why, though.
But you know what's interesting is most of them were in theater.
Yeah.
Why?
I think you were drawn to the drama.
I think all of them were in theater. Now that I really think about it.
Also, it's some of the... So the band girls, definitely not your shtick because they were too high maintenance.
Yeah.
Right,
Not my shtick.
but the theater
Like,
girls...
I like people who can take care of themselves.
Right, and
Yeah.
the theater girls always came off that way. Theater / choir girls always came off that way. You didn't have enough exposure to them, but they
Okay.
were. Some of them were also very, very high maintenance.
Well, I'm sure, for like first off, I'm sure,
I love First Sopranos.
but like high maintenance.
They
Right?
have an amazing range.
Right.
They
high
also
maintenance.
are like the flutes of
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And anyone who's been in band or choir knows what we're saying. Like, there's a type.
I don't mean that in a bad way. No,
we
I
don't.
don't. I really don't. In any case,
It's funny they're mentioning blonde. I will probably be going blonde.
yeah. So
Like, you can see me starting to.
So I think you were attracted to the blondes for a number of different reasons.
Why? Why do you think I was attracted to the blondes?
I think you at that time not understanding what was all the things that were going on,
uh-huh.
right? I think that you saw yourself in them, or them in you. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think there was a lot of that,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's exactly correct.
But I think in a weird way, that's also why you were attracted to me.
Oh, explain that one.
So I, in high school, for some reason, was relatively popular in our circles.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't like a popular girl by any means, but amongst the choir and the band and the theater, like I had like a circle, I had like a
Mm-hmm.
gathering. I seemed to be able to touch a lot of people in a lot of different areas.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I've never said publicly. And I'm kind of embarrassed to say so. And I feel sort of bad about it. There were a number of people in high school that wanted to approach me and wanted to sign my yearbook. And I had no idea who they were. And I'm not talking like one or two. There was a good swath of people that wanted to sign my yearbook and wanted me to sign their yearbook too. But I didn't even know what their names were.
I had that problem too, but for different reasons.
Right. That's the thing is my reach was so far and so vast and so wide. And I was sort of the center of attention to a certain extent not because I was talented, because there was a number of people who were centers of attention because they were very, very talented. A large number of them. But I was almost always like one step back, but not in a bad way, not in a jealous way. And I think in a strange way, you also could see you and I and our similarities. And I also wasn't super feminine. So it was like an approachable.
Yeah, that's right. In high school, you really weren't. Well, I mean, that is still
I'm not
your
super
shtick.
feminine right
No,
now
that's not your
either.
shtick, yeah.
No, but like now I've got bangs and longer hair and like whatever. But at the time I was very, very flat chested. And I leaned into that. Now, granted, grunge was also very hot at the time. So
It's coming back.
it's think Kurt Cobain. There was a lot of flannel going on, a lot of Birkenstocks going on. A lot of flannel. And I leaned into that quite a bit because it helped me straddle the line between being too girly and being just feminine enough. but I wasn't very tomboy-ish necessarily. I just wasn't really girly at all.
That does make sense.
I think I was very approachable in that kind of way.
I think there's some truth to that.
Even though I wasn't blonde.
Yeah, I mean, that's never been like a deal breaker for me.
No.
Obviously.
Yeah, I'm amazing.
You are amazing. So,
and I'm not a good blonde.
So this is the time when I was trying to figure all of this out. For me personally, it was somewhere around 1994 to 1998. So it was the end of my high school and the very beginning as I was leaving high school, like the last 2 years of high school and then the first 2 years after high school. I can't really narrow it down more than that. So I was certainly like very confused. And again, this is the mid-90s. The internet's not a thing. I'm growing up in the Midwest. So
because I graduated in 95 and she graduated in 96.
So not a thing, like transition's not a thing.
Right.
Not possible.
Right.
Not like none of this is allowed. You can't talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
This is not okay. That was my mentality at the time. So that's where that was coming from. So I have a bit of a crush on her. All the way back, a bit of a crush on her during
Which
high
I did
school.
not know about.
Well, I didn't tell any. Like I had a couple, as anyone in high school, right? You probably had a couple crushes. I had couples understatement.
Whatever, it's fine.
Dated the band. I did. I had a couple of crushes. Interesting. Always female, never male.
Uh-huh.
So that's interesting.
I had both.
Okay. Although I had role models I looked up to. I had a similar issue in high school of like I was known like everywhere because everything that I did was so large and public. It's a lot like the issues I have.
Yeah, but the thing's like I made friends.
And I did not.
You did not. Everyone knew who you were.
But I was so.
No, that's not true. You did make friends. You had friends who were teachers.
I did have friends who were teachers. I was very standoffish, but I didn't intend to be. I just like, if you couldn't maintain conversation, why am I spending my time here?
It's funny you're still like that.
I'm getting better.
Sure.
Anyhow.
That's funny.
Brendan said sexuality and gender are different. Yeah. Just interesting things that like I hadn't thought about at the time.
Right.
And now I'm like, we're telling the story. It's like, oh, what about this? So high school, we're done with high school. We never dated in high school.
Correct.
Not high school sweethearts.
Nope.
Left high school, never went on a single date. And in fact, she tried once. She came to...
How dare you?
What? Well, more than once.
I tried more than once.
Yes. So... As
per my story. Go back, read it.
So the quick version of that is, in the lighting control room, she would come and approach and, you know, trying to show interest in what I'm doing. I was like, oh, well, that's nice of you. I will tell you exactly what I'm doing. And I told her precisely what I was doing, but I didn't have the skill at that time of taking techie and turning it into English.
Yep.
So I spoke techie to her, excuse me. and
I didn't understand it.
So
I figured that he wasn't interested in any way, shape, or form.
Which, like,
clearly all you're using is language I do not understand. When I
was giving you my time, and like I wasn't pushing you away, being like, "F off!" Like I don't have time for you. Like I was actually spending the time to explain it to you in my mind poorly. Right. Now that is something I have worked on for a number of years, and I think that actually has like having that problem early on has helped me be able to explain complicated things in technology and aerospace at a level that
even I can understand.
Even you can understand. But no, at a level.
You're welcome.
At a level
I gave you a good skill.
You did. No, you really did. It's a very valuable skill, that ability to communicate. So she did that a couple of times, and she's eventually like, not interested. Like, he clearly doesn't care. And that was it. A couple years pass, and I had helped design the new theater for the high school after I graduated. Not a lot. Like, there was a teacher that did a majority of it, and I just kind of gave a little bit of input, right? Just sprinkles of data here and there, like this might be cool, that might be cool.
I like how this story has changed, by the way, because when we first met back up, you're like, I designed all of this.
Well, you know.
Go on.
Well, there were swaths of the, okay, yes. Doesn't matter. Well, yeah, but ultimately, like, Rolf did all of it.
I know.
Like, he did all of
it.
I know. So anyhow, but I had input there.
Yep, I know.
And so my grandfather had just passed away, and I wanted to go somewhere that wasn't home, and I wanted to go somewhere familiar. And so I was like, you know what? And this is before like all the crazy people came out and like they locked high schools down and whatnot.
Yeah,
So I was well known.
Yeah, this was in 1999.
Right.
This was the day of your grandfather's funeral, right?
I believe so. Yes, I actually believe this was the day. Yes, this was the day of my grandfather's funeral. So funeral's done. I'm like, okay, I just want to mentally decompress. I just want to go somewhere. And I feel like that's a normal reaction of just like something familiar, but not home.
Mm-hmm.
Something familiar, just like I just want to do something slightly different but familiar. So I went to the high school. They were specifically the brand new theater. They were rehearsing a musical. I don't remember what.
The Music Man.
He's what? He's a what?
He's a music man.
And so I'm there. I'm still in my suit. Which was like a terrible suit. It was before I knew how to fit into suits. Like I thought it was cool, but it was not. It was like a bright blue top or something like that. Maybe it was green, like seafoam green. Maybe.
I really don't remember.
It was not.
I remember you in the suit.
Oh, maybe it was. You know what? Maybe I own that suit, but that
and
one.
The trench coat.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, that suit might have been black because it was a funeral. I may have, but it definitely didn't fit right. Like I remember, like the suits I have now are amazing, which is too bad because I'm about to not wear them anymore.
Whatever.
But they fit great.
Yeah, they do.
Like I wear that, and I'm like, damn. So we'll loop around to what happens when you're on hormone therapy and you try to wear a men's dress shirt. They're not designed for that.
No.
Anyhow, so I'm sitting there and I'm just kind of watching the kids, and it's perfect. It's working really well for me. Like I'm enjoying the new theater. It literally is brand new. This thing is brand spanking. Had they done any shows?
Nope, that was
this
the
is the very first show
in
this theater, and like I'm enjoying. Like
we were so excited.
They fixed so many of the technical issues and the way that everything routed from stage back to the control room. It was done beautifully. Like I was really enjoying, and they were doing a great job. Like in the control room, I wasn't helping with anything because that would have been awkward and weird. So I was just enjoying like, wow, this is really cool. And then you pop out. Boop, 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 boop. And go sit. I'm a little bit like I talked to the director, Rolf, and I was like, hey, just here to watch. He's like, cool, grab a seat. So I did. And then because I had a really great relationship with him and a few other like you said, I made friends with the teachers.
Yep.
And so I had really great relationships with a lot of these teachers who completely and totally shaped my life. I am where I am today because of a handful of teachers in high school that absolutely did amazing things.
Yes.
So I'm sitting there just kind of watching it, and beep, 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 beep. You sit behind Rolf. I actually did not notice you at first, but you were
good because I didn't notice you at first too.
You were just kind of like waiting to get in.
Well, because in case you missed my side of the story, it was the one and only time my mother's ever lied to me. And I know this because she's against lying. But what happened was that, as Jamie said, she came into the theater and sat a couple, talked to Olson, our director, and, set a couple of seats down. My mom had seen Ben and they had conversed, is my understanding.
That I don't legitimately remember.
Okay, that could be either or.
Yeah, it could be that.
Because I never actually asked her about it. All I know is that she recognized you.
Because I did a tour of the theater. Like I walked through the whole theater,
and
just
somehow
to see,
I
wanted to see.
You.
I wanted to see what it was like in action. Like I had seen it when it was being built.
Somehow
I had seen it when it was empty. But there's a difference when there are people there,
which is also really funny because like. I was taking care of boys' hair and makeup, so if you if you had gone through any area, it should have been that, not necessarily girls' hair and makeup.
I would not have gone into the women's.
No, I know you wouldn't have.
No, there's no way.
No, I know.
Especially with people that like I had been in there for understanding like how that tech was going to link in.
Yeah.
But that was the extent.
Which is really cool because it was one of the first times that we had a video link from what was going on stage, backstage, so we could actually like pay attention to it. Up until then, it had just been some crappy audio that I think eventually just turned off.
It was a PA system that was like from 1960. It was terrible.
So bad in the old theater. But in the new theater, we had video and we could see it. It was really cool. In any case, so that's funny. Either way, somehow my mom knew that you were there and came backstage and talked to me and said, hey, the director wants to talk to you for a minute. And I said, okay, cool, which is not unusual in any way, shape, or form because a lot of times the director will have notes on his hair looks good. I think his makeup is wrong. Like, are we doing something with this costume? Like, what's going on? So like, that's a very, very normal thing to do when we're in those kind of rehearsals. So I went out and I sat right behind him and like many a theater director, he has a tendency to be a little bit flighty. And you can't always necessarily interrupt him right in that moment. Sometimes you have to kind of like wait for him to realize that you're there and wait to turn around to go, oh, hey, good thing you're here. By the way, so-and-so is this. I don't like this. Maybe look this, but this was good. Cool. Those are my notes. I get to go backstage and change any of the things that need to be changed.
The thing is, Rolf didn't need to speak to her. And so.
But I didn't know that because my mother lied to me.
He never acknowledged her presence.
Ever.
But she needs to wait for him to acknowledge her presence because that's what would normally happen. And so he's not doing it. He's not doing it. She's there for a hot minute. And I'm like,
what? I was starting to get annoyed. I'm not lying.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? Then I'm like, oh, hey, Cariann, which for the record, I mentioned earlier, I didn't know people. Like it's a similar situation to now where.
Remember how I just said, hey, who else did you have a crush on? And she said, I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I don't remember. It's so significant that she remembered my name in that moment.
I don't remember names. I just don't.
It just isn't a thing.
I'm trying to get better at it, but like I just don't. And so it takes a very long time for me. So the fact that I remembered her name was kind of a big deal. She didn't know it at the time. And we got to chatting and
a little bit,
not a lot. And then I think I offered to bring you and your mom out to dinner.
Yeah, because my mom was my ride.
Our first date was with your mom.
Yep.
Technically speaking.
The woman who lied to me.
Yep. And was that the one where I brought you to Odyssey?
Yes.
Oh God. So
that was that night.
So I don't know why you married me. So
I got over it.
I don't know how. So
I was on drugs. We've got over this.
So we stayed there for a while, and again, I just kind of wanted something familiar, and so I'm like, hey, why don't you come out to dinner with me? You're like, blah blah blah. My mom. I'm like, oh, I'll bring out your mom too. It'll be great.
My mom and I decided after I talked to my mom, and after I accused her of lying to me, we got over that. It was like, look, he's going through some shit right now, and I don't think he should be home alone. Like that would be bad.
I mean, I was doing fine, but like you don't know.
That was just a shitty situation, and I was like, look, if we're gonna go out, like we all have to go out because, like, I don't think he should be alone right now.
Lisa says we should have gone to cons. This is before I had.
I don't think
I did not know of cons at this time.
No,
it wasn't until the early aughts.
Yeah.
I think that we learned of cons and then we went there every single day. I will talk about cons in a moment, maybe. So we go to dinner, and dinner is at the Mall of America, which is moderately new at that point, like new-ish.
Yeah,
it's not brand new, but like
under 10 years old.
Under 10, yeah, exactly. And at that time, they had a bunch of very themed restaurants. If you've ever been to Rainforest Cafe, think like that, where it's like all of their time and energy went into building a theme.
Yes.
And none of it went into food.
Yep.
You pay.
Wait, this is the best part. This one's called Odyssey. Now, for those of you who read the Odyssey.
Iliad and the Odyssey.
Yep, Iliad and the Odyssey. That's what this restaurant was themed after.
Yep.
And each room had its own interior theming, if you will, right?
Yeah.
And its own menu. So think Cheesecake Factory on crack.
Oh yeah. But worse.
Because like each room had its, like, you can't maintain that. That's totally stupid in every single way.
Maybe it's just too big for the kitchen. So but again, I'm young and naive and I don't know, and it's expensive.
So obviously it means it's good.
Really expensive. And so I correlated price to quality.
Which is so
sweet. And I didn't understand.
And of all things on a first date, like that's so sweet of you though. But ultimately, that is. It's
But
really sweet and kind.
For those who know me, I do appreciate good, like my shtick is really great theming.
Yes.
This is why I love Disneyland.
Yes.
I like getting immersed in themes.
Yep.
And I will take a hit in food quality in order to get that. But this is also why I love Club 33, because I get to be immersed in theming and I get great food.
Yes.
Like all rolled into one, which is fantastic.
Yes.
So we're at Cafe Odyssey, and I think both you and your mom are like, the fuck is this?
Well, at this point, she also had not experienced garlic ever, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, the iPad just went.
So I think we're both leaning forward awkwardly. So that was our first date. We're at Cafe. I think we were in the Atlantis room.
I don't remember where that we were.
But basically, it was just giant, like floor-to-ceiling fish tanks with like Roman columns kind of in between each one of them.
I don't remember that part.
I'm pretty sure that was the room we were in, because I seemed to
vaguely for some reason.
Maybe like I seem to vaguely remember. Yeah, there was a rainforesty type. I don't remember what the movie were. There were 4 different quadrants in the restaurant, and I always preferred Atlantis not because Atlantis was the best room, and in fact it was the worst. It was like they just didn't try with Atlantis. They're like fishes, columns. Atlantis. So
good,
right?
I got it.
Yeah,
feel like I was there.
So the Atlantis room was the worst one, but I personally love the mythology behind Atlantis.
Yeah.
And so I was all excited for that. So that was our first date. And somehow, like, you decided to keep talking to me even after that terrible, terrible meal with your mom present. And we were all like, this isn't really great food. Even I was like, all of it's white. The whole dish of food is like white food next to white food next to white food with no flavor whatsoever. So just like all starch. So that was our very first date.
Yep.
That's how we got together.
Yep.
And then that led to, I think you invited me to, was it Anita's?
Nope.
Who was
Adria's.
it? Adria's, that was it. Wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And what she didn't know about, and I actually said yes, which is remarkable because there are few things in this world,
which I didn't know, by the way,
that I hate more than going to weddings. So few. I don't like going to them. I don't like working them. I generally just don't like weddings. I have lightened up quite a bit since then. And actually the last couple, Jimmy's wedding.
Was
oh
great.
My God, that was great. That was
great.
That was freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
Like they did an amazing job. But I think the reason I hated weddings so much is because I was doing audio, video, photography, all that fun jazz. Yeah. And so every friend's wedding, they're like, hey, why don't you come to our wedding? I'm like, okay, cool. They're like, would you mind doing all of this work for free? And I was like, yeah, I would kind of mind. Like, that's how I make my living. This isn't easy stuff. Yeah. This takes a lot of time and money and effort. So I didn't have to work the wedding, which was nice because I don't think they even knew I was coming.
Yeah.
So you invite me to the wedding and I dress up. I think that might have been where I wore my crappy suit with like the blue. Anyhow, what she doesn't know is that at the time, I had a very infected toenail on my left big toe. Actually, technically, that time it was both of my feet had an ingrown toenail that I had not taken care of. And so because of that...
No. Let's be clear. You had taken care of. Just not medically and in the correct way by a professional.
It was an ingrown toenail, which is where your toenail kind of bends down into the side and it starts like it's going back into your skin. And so your body is viewing it as a foreign object that it needs to attack. And so it gets all pussy and oozy. And so what I would do, if you're squeamish,
don't listen for a
second. Don't listen to this part. She's left her quarantine. She's on the run. She's trying to be quiet. So what I would do is I would take
any household object that was close by that was sharp. Let's be honest.
Dig it into my foot without sanitizing it, mind you. Pull the nail back out and try to snip the nail off, which I would say worked. It would provide temporary relief, right? Because the pressure on the toe would build up. And so what I needed to do was release the pressure, which was really, really gross. Except that, like, by doing this in the most unsanitary way possible, like, I made the infection worse and worse and worse
We're
and
talking
worse.
screwdrivers.
Oh, yeah.
Scissors.
Mhm.
Like literally anything that was sitting around.
Yep.
Just to be clear.
So
gross.
yeah.
Not okay.
So I had done really bad things to my feet. We're going to loop back around to the wedding in a moment, but in the end, it got to be so bad that I had to lose my toenail on my left foot permanently.
Completely.
I will try to do my best.
Oh, good luck.
All right, let's see if I can hold that for me. There you go. No toenail. All right, that will never grow back. I almost had to lose the toe. They were going.
That's bad.
Yep. The doctor, my mom was eventually the one who was like, "This is ridiculous. You're going to the doctor with me right now." And I was like, "Ugh, fine." And I was in so much pain that I was like, "Okay, I hate going to doctors." I mean, who likes going to doctors? It's not the doctors. I just don't like I don't like getting poked and prodded. So, so we go to the doctor, and the doctor takes a look at it and immediately goes, "Okay. We're going to okay. Oh yeah. We're going to operate right now. We need to take some x-rays and see if the infection has made it to the bone. If it has, we'll have to remove that part up through the end of the infection. If we're lucky, it hasn't made it that far yet, but you're definitely losing this toenail permanently." And so there you go. That's why I have no toenail there.
Neat,
huh?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing though. Prior to going to the doctor, we had a second date or third date. It was second or third. It was pretty early on.
Well, it depends on how you look at it. So you came over to my place the night before.
Oh, yes.
And you just never left.
Right. So, what? So, continuation of the second date.
So it depends on how you want to look at it.
I must have left in order to change, though.
You obviously, yeah, but it was after I left.
Well, that's the line of demarcation. That's the new date time.
Cool. Second date. Third date.
Third date.
Fine.
Awkward. Hello, Poland. Good to see you. Welcome to the California quarantine. So my toe is very infected at this time.
Well, both of them are.
Both of them are.
The one was just worse than the other.
Way worse. Yeah, the left toe was way worse.
Yeah.
And so what I was doing is I was moving the pressure of my feet to the outer edges so there's no pressure on the toes, and squeeze them into dress shoes, which was awesome because dress shoes press on the front of your feet. Women's shoes are so much worse in that regard.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yep.
How do you, like, heeled shoes with a
pointy toe?
Ow.
Turbo. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
pain is fashion. Fashion is pain.
Heather, this story is a ride, y'all.
Dude.
So my toe squeezed into these shoes, dressed up. I'm like, I'll be fine. I popped some Advil or whatever it is. Like this is gonna sound terrible. I had popped the infection earlier to like release the stress. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's so gross.
And I'm wearing, I have to wear fairly thick socks because it will ooze into the sock and then absorb the ooze. I know it's gross. I'm sorry. So now we're at this wedding, and you're like, why don't we dance?
Right. Because I like to dance.
And
I wanted to dance.
What would I say?
Well, now you'd say no.
You're right. At the time.
Well, that's not true. Jamie might say yes.
Jamie.
Ben would have normally said no.
That's fair. Jamie's getting better at that.
Yeah.
Jamie's speaking in third person.
Jamie still doesn't know how to dance, but that's fine.
True. So I generally said no for a good chunk of the evening.
Yes.
But once or twice I said yes. I cannot tell you how awful.
I had no idea.
It hurt so much. When I was done, my feet were bleeding in that area. And they were, if you get grossed out easily, you need to just pause it for a hot minute. It had bled and oozed into that area and then dried and stuck to the toe. Mm-hmm. So I actually had to peel it and crack it back, my sock back off my toe. Mm-hmm. That's how awful it was. Sorry, Lisa. Lisa went to go make breakfast, so that was happening like right over there while we're telling this amazing story.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was our third date. I continue at date 2.5.
Do you remember what happened at the end of that night, by the way?
I think I carried you to the car.
You carried me
I
to the
remember
car.
doing something that put additional pressure on my foot going, this was a bad idea.
Because my feet hurt. Not that bad, apparently.
To be fair, you were in heels or something.
I was in heels all day.
Yeah, now my feet hurt, but I was kind of used to it. I remember those ripped your feet apart. Like,
oh, yeah.
You had just
It was like everything in the back, everything in the side, everything in the top.
everything ripped off so much skin.
It was bad.
I think you had stopped wearing your shoes like halfway through and you were just dancing barefoot.
Probably, yeah. No,
Yeah.
That sounds like me.
Yep.
Yeah, so you carried me to the car,
Mm-hmm.
even with everything that was going on with your feet.
Yeah.
Like,
you found out not that much later.
No. I felt so bad.
You were like, what the hell?
I felt so guilty.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. And I still didn't take care of it.
Yep.
It took my mother for me to take care of it.
Thank you, Ava.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell the lemon chicken story, Lisa says. So we're all right. So more time passes.
Not a lot though.
By the way, there are only like 10 people watching that. I don't know why you're all still watching. Either this is fascinating or terribly boring. I have no idea. So,
not a lot more time though.
Yeah. I mean,
because we weren't even engaged yet. You were still back in the apartment.
Yeah. So I had. This was when I was with JP, right? Yeah. So, which again had my own animal at that time. I just want to point that out.
A cat. Go on.
I have taken care of dogs as well.
Anyway.
Oh, you don't need to be quiet, Lisa. It doesn't matter. So
I worked at Hallmark in the mall.
Right. And
in order to spend more time together, Ben would go out and get us food, and then I'd be
you like Leanne Shin.
Leanne Shin,
which was not in the mall proper.
No.
So, and she worked at Hallmark.
Yes.
And so I would pick up your favorite order at Leanne Shin, which was lemon chicken, fried rice, and I think that was it.
It might have been pot stickers or an egg roll, but it might have been that.
I think
that might have been it.
But they did not have your drink.
Correct.
So I would have to go to Burger King because you like Surge, I think it was, but only from the fountain.
Yeah.
And like only from this one place.
Yeah.
And so I would go get that. I would go get your Surge, and then you'd be like, I have your food. Come meet me in the food. Like, let's go to the food court. And you'd be like, okay, I can meet you in like
There's
10
no
minutes.
wonder why we were both obese. Go on.
Oh, yeah. So we'd go and we'd eat in the food court. And so we're dating for a little bit. I'm like, okay, I'm going to cook you dinner. And I know you like lemon chicken, so I am going to make you lemon chicken. If anyone has ever watched Crappy Cooking with Ben, or whatever the heck I call that, Watch Me Fail at Cooking, I think it was, on my when I had a Facebook page, you will understand why this was a terrible idea. So my roommate, who
you haven't gotten better since the lemon chicken story.
I've gotten worse.
Yeah.
I've gotten worse somehow. So I'm like, this will be romantic. This will be sweet. I will cook you dinner.
Yes, and it was.
It was romantic and sweet, and it was terrible. So
all these stories show is like, why did you marry me? Is really what I'm trying to figure out. Because you were sweet and kind through every single one of these stories.
Kathra says, I missed an entire cooking show. Oh, well, as we're in quarantine, I feel like Jamie's Bits is going to go live a lot more. I think Jamie Fails at Cooking is going to be probably another episode.
We didn't buy anything you have to cook. We didn't
here. I'll still screw that up somehow.
Just saying.
We are.
This is you decide to do all this behind my back.
Yes, so she doesn't know. I'm like, but I got you scheduled for like a date night.
Yes.
And then my roommate's helping me. And then I asked you what?
You asked me what kind of wine I like, and I said I didn't know.
Right.
And you liked red wine.
So I got a bunch of red wine.
You bought red wine.
Once again,
to go with lemon chicken.
I was not, like, my palate was not developed to go with lemon chicken. Yes, exactly. So my palate was not developed. It was terrible wine. It was just awful. I didn't know.
I don't know.
It was. So I'm trying to cook this lemon chicken and I'm miserably failing it. Somehow I get lemon chicken on the ceiling of the kitchen. I don't know how I managed to get lemon chicken on the ceiling, which, by the way, they're like 14-foot ceilings. I don't know what that is a meter. There's just lemon chicken
everywhere.
And I am like, what have I done? What? So I cook this chicken and it's rubbery.
It's bad.
Like you could bounce it off of a plate. It may have been filled with salmonella. Is that what you have in chicken?
Stop touching your hair.
I can't. It's breaking apart and it's annoying me.
Well, then don't touch it.
Yeah, it was Jamie Bakes. That's what Lisa wants me to call it.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
She said there's ingredients for bread. I could try to make bread. That would be hilarious.
You mean you could burn bread?
I can burn bread.
Great.
Watch me fail at bread. That would be the title of it. Watch me fail at bread.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I make this awful dinner. And oh my God, I'm such a terrible. Why did you marry me?
No, really. Again,
because hold up.
What's the ending to the story?
Hold up.
What's the ending to the story?
No, because here's why. Now think about this. Keep in mind, we are on a date, right? We're on a freaking date.
Yes.
And so I make you a terrible dinner, blah, blah, blah.
Yes. It was awful.
It was awful. We're done with dinner.
Yes.
And now I'm like, well, I don't know what to do, and I need to do laundry.
Why do you need to do laundry?
Well, because at the time, I didn't like to, you bitch. At the time, I didn't like doing laundry. So rather than do laundry, I would just, when my clothes got dirty, I would just buy new clothes and I would throw my old dirty clothes in the hamper. Because I was on the 9th story of a complex and the laundry was on like the basement. So like story -1. So I had to go down 10 stories with this stupid freaking basket, do my laundry and then go back up, and it wasn't free, right? So I had to pay.
And who in your apartment hated that most?
Me?
No. Who in your apartment hated all of those dirty clothes, which by the way filled that closet?
Floor to ceiling.
Filled
it. My cat would use it as a fort.
Yes.
She would dive into it.
Yes.
And then
sometimes she would
poop in it.
There you go. There you go. The cat that you so gently reminded me that you took care of. Go on. A cat that basically takes care of itself. Yeah, that animal? Is that the animal you're talking about?
That is the one I am talking about.
That's
indeed.
Fantastic. So the animal that takes care of itself didn't like the dirty laundry that is floor to ceiling. The animal didn't. And sometimes she would go in there and poop.
Well, sometimes puke in it.
Yes, on your dirty laundry.
To be fair, usually puke, not poop.
Right, okay.
No, actually, she would never poop in it. She would poop on mine. I would buy a brand new comforter, and within an hour, she would always walk onto it and poop on it.
Yep.
Every time without fail.
She hated you.
She hated me. Oh, she was adorable. She loved to play sink.
She was amazing.
Okay, so we finished this awful dinner. I've miserably
totally
failed.
Awful dinner, and so she decides to do laundry, and we're talking a year's worth of laundry.
Oh yeah, easily.
Like
floor to ceiling. So it's just basket after basket going downstairs, and these washing machines don't take very much laundry load at a time. Like they're really, really small. And so I'm constantly having to leave, and then I'm gone for a hot minute because I have to go down 10 stories, and the elevator takes a minute, and then I have to come back up 10 stories. And then, like, what I didn't realize is that...
And this is what I'm saying. I don't understand why Jamie married me.
Again, on our date, I'm doing laundry.
On our date, after a really terrible dinner.
Whatever.
Which was very sweet and very kind because you tried.
I failed.
You somehow got lemon chicken on the ceiling. I still don't know how you did that either.
I'm sure it's still there.
It's probably
still
there.
Like if you go back to that apartment, there's probably a little bit of lemon, up behind the microwave. There's probably lemon chicken. There's lemon chicken permanently in that complex.
It was terrible. Served with red wine. That every time. So I, at this point in my life, which I have got to be like 22-ish.
Sure.
Right in there, somewhere 22, 23-ish. I had actually not been drunk yet, other than when I was very, very tiny. That's a different story. And all of my friends had said, well, you're just not drinking enough. And what I thought they meant was I wasn't drinking the correct amount of quantity at the time I was drinking. What they meant was I haven't built up a tolerance to becoming sleepy. well, you have to move past the tolerance part and then you can get into the drunk part. Because I would drink and then I would get sleepy and then I wouldn't drink anymore.
Right.
So what they meant was that basically I wasn't drinking often enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what they meant. But those weren't the words that they used. They said, you're not drinking enough. And I said, okay, great. Here we are. We're on a date. I've never been drunk. This is fantastic. Every time that Ben goes downstairs with a load of laundry, I promise I will finish a glass of wine.
Now, you need to understand, I went downstairs with a lot of loads of laundry.
And I didn't tell Ben I was doing this.
I had no idea that she was polishing off, in the matter of a few hours, an entire bottle of wine.
By myself.
By herself. On a fairly empty stomach, because let's be clear, neither one of us ate that dinner. I was so bound and determined to be drunk. And I figured this was a safe place. I was already staying the night anyway. Yeah.
So like, it's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
You're obviously going to take care of me because that's what you always do.
And I did, because I get back up and like, there's one point, oblivious to the fact that you're getting more and more drunk every time I come up.
Yeah.
Eventually come up and you're just like, you are plastered. You are out of your mind drunk. I have never, to this day, seen you that drunk on
really
red
bad.
wine and lemon chicken. Those are the contents of her stomach at this moment in time. So, red wine and lemon chicken do not go together, as one can imagine. And her body was
still just thinking about it.
sorry.
Honestly, no, it's okay. Like, it's fine.
And her body was like, no. And so,
well, wait. Let me demonstrate very quickly what happens when I get that drunk. And I am, again, have not been that drunk since.
Mm-hmm.
But I started repeating myself incessantly.
I'm so sorry.
Because
wait. Did you start with I'm not drunk?
I started with, I don't think I'm that drunk. I don't think I'm that drunk. I'm not that drunk. And do I sound drunk to you? Because I'm not that drunk. I'm not that drunk. I'm not drunk. I'm not that drunk. I'm not that drunk.
And then I was like, how would you be that drunk? You had one half of one glass of wine. And you're like, well,
I think
I may have had a little bit more.
You checked.
And I went over and I looked at this empty bottle of red wine. And I started doing the math because I knew when that was full.
Right.
And I was like, well, it's going to be a long night. So
and then you're like, you are drunk. And I'm not that drunk. I'm not that drunk. I'm not that drunk. I'm not that drunk.
And at this point, I went into take care of Cariann mode because I knew it was coming. I didn't know how bad it was going to hit.
I didn't know it was coming.
Oh, did it?
I didn't know until all of a sudden it was like, I don't feel good.
I was like, let's get you moving towards the restroom. And
no, I don't want to.
Yeah, come with me. Come with me. Come with me. So we make our way towards the restroom, and we were so close. We almost made it.
I made the threshold of the bathroom.
She made the threshold of the bathroom, and then her body was like, good enough!
So, much like how Jami covered the kitchen in lemon chicken, Cariann covered the bathroom in lemon chicken and red wine.
Covered it. Like, I had to throw shit away. That was the end of those bath mats. They were never coming back from that. To be fair, she did get it everywhere but the toilet.
Because the toilet was closed.
Yep, she got it.
If the toilet was open, it would have been fine.
Yep.
I think I actually aimed for the toilet and it splashed off of the seat everywhere.
I think you're right. And so she's like, I'm so sorry. Again comes round two, and then you're just like you're in a loop of like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And so I'm just grabbing your hair. Like, it was nice because it was shorter at the time, so like there wasn't a whole lot I had to keep out of the way.
Thanks, it's nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, it made it easier. And so you just basically were not good. The room was spinning for you.
Yeah.
You were like, this is awful. I'm like, yeah. Here's some water. Here's some Advil. Drink all of that. Take all of that.
God.
I put you to bed because there was nothing left in your stomach. I mean, you were dry heaving at the end of it, right?
Yeah.
So you were like, I'll take care of it in the morning. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. So I cleaned the bathroom while you were
Passed out.
I
was passed out.
on our, I think on our.
I don't even know.
We had what's that called? Like where you take the couch out of the bed, whatever, or out of the
futon,
or take the bed out of the couch. There you go. Yeah, futon. That's what I was looking for. I think you're passed out on a.
I don't know where I was. I really don't.
And so I started off this fantastic date by making a horrific lemon chicken and then doing laundry because date night. And then you were like, cool, I'm going to drink the rest of this wine and then vacate my stomach in your entire bathroom because date night. So that was like date number 5. So this is when I knew I was going to marry her.
How are we not doomed? I don't understand.
I don't know.
We went through all these hardships at the very early stages.
We did the first 5 dates.
The rest
we knew
was
what.
fine.
Oh yeah, we were set. Yep. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That was good.
Yep. I think that was our most infamous date. Mm-hmm. There is the only other things from a marriage perspective, like we have a really solid marriage and we have for a very long time. I think there were only like 2 times. I think, yeah, it's 2 times where it was like really sketchy for a minute there. Maybe like 2.5. Mall of America.
Yep.
Holiday party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's it.
And the Mall of America one was stupid. I would say I was the dumber one, but we were both dumb.
Yeah,
I was definitely the dumber one.
It was stupid on both of our sides for sure.
Neither one of us wanted to relent on it. And when you think about something that it was nearly marriage ending for us.
Oh yeah.
Like we walked away from each other just furious.
I don't remember. That's one part. That is one story I'd like to hear your side of the story on.
I'm not sure how much of it I remember. So we were shopping for, and again, this is something that nearly destroyed our marriage. Dishes.
No, we weren't shopping for dishes.
We were returning dishes?
Nope.
What were we doing with dishes?
So we were
dishes related.
Yes.
Yep.
So I want to say that we were married at this point. I want to say.
I think you're right.
And what happened was that while you were interested in the marriage, you weren't really interested in the registry.
Sure. Yes.
So and I know this because we went to Target to register for things and you would take the gun and just shoot it randomly at things.
I wanted to see how far the laser would go.
So somehow like 5 Tickle Me Elmos ended up on my registry. Thankfully, you can go back and delete those, which is great. But there was there were 10 items of like basketballs. Like things that didn't make any sense for us in any way, shape, or form. And so at that point I was like, cool. I'm glad you don't care about any of this. I'm going to take over the rest of it. And you were like, cool, whatever, hands off. That's awesome. I was like, great.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Because again, not a fan of weddings.
Right. Even ours. In any case.
Hey, at least I'm consistent.
Yes. Good job. So what happened was because I had full control over the entire registry.
Yes, you did.
I registered for all the things I ever wanted,
mm-hmm.
such as Fiesta Wear. Oh. If you're not familiar with Fiesta Wear.
All right, you tell the story. I have to use the restroom.
Okay. If you're not familiar with Fiesta Wear, first of all, just look it up. But secondly, it is a ceramic plateware.
Ugly.
It's not ugly. That started in like the 30s or something like that. It's really old, 30s, 40s, something like that. And I had always had this sort of, as you can tell, mid-century modern sensibility. And so with these being these, Catherine loves Fiesta. Or Catherine, mom collects Fiesta Wear. I'm not saying it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But I really liked it. And it was very retro. And it was something that I had always wanted. And, he didn't care. So it didn't matter. And I picked out this cobalt blue. And it was gorgeous. And it's one of my favorite colors. It's just like this really sort of dark but bright blue, almost edging on purple. And so that's C. Thank you, Catherine. I think it's pretty too. And it's got some just simple lines on the outside and kind of a swirl, a very simple swirl on the inside. But they're pretty heavy, generally speaking. But I got them. We got them for the wedding, and it was fantastic. The other thing that I actually also, what happened was I got the Fiesta Wear. I registered for the Fiesta Wear. And while I was looking for other things to put in the registry with my mom, we came across, I want to say it was at Dayton's, if anybody is familiar with that brand. Think of like a Macy's or a Bloomingdale's or a Nordstrom, that kind of thing. In their kitchen section were some reproduced green milk glass plates and bowls. And I fell in love immediately. It was one of those things that up until that point, I'd only seen, I hadn't even seen reproductions. I had only seen them as vintage. And so again, with that sort of mid-century modern kind of sensibility, I fell madly in love with them, and I absolutely had to have them. And so I registered for those as well, not thinking in a million years that I would get one whole set of each or both in any way, shape, or form. And it turns out the lovely ladies that I worked with at Hallmark banded together and got us a complete set of the Fiesta ware, which was amazing. And then my mom and my parents also kind of banded together and yes, those are the plates we still have, Lisa. And got the green milk glass plates. So I have these green, they're smaller plates. They're kind of a jadeite is another name for them if you're familiar with that. But they're sort of a milky green glass plateware. And I loved both sets of them. So some reason this came up in conversation while we were walking around Mall of America. And I don't remember how and or why it came up in conversation. But the deal was that we were living with my parents at the time. We were living in my parents' basement. My parents at the time had a Rambler house, which is to say it was one story above ground and one story below ground, and not a walkout. It was a completely enclosed underground basement. And effectively what was happening was that we were running out of room in the basement, which is hilarious to think about now. But we had a small bedroom, we had a very tiny bathroom, and we had a small living space. And in this one corner that we could make into an office area if we needed to, which I think is what maybe was what we were talking about, or maybe that's what sparked the whole thing. But were all of these things that we got in the registry, namely these plates and these two completely different plate sets. And Ben was never a fan of the Fiesta ware.
Still am not.
Doesn't matter. The point is, we're all allowed to be wrong. They were taking up a lot of space in the basement. And so without having any storage room anywhere really available to us at all, the debate was like going through all of the wedding stuff that we had gotten, because we realized that with the amount of money that we didn't have at the time, we weren't moving out anytime soon. Right. So if we were going to be living in the basement, we were going to try to be making room in the basement. Like all of the stuff that we had gotten for our wedding needs to be sorted through and needs to be gone through and judges need to be made on, atomic ware. Yes. Need to be made on all of these items that we had. And these plates took up the most room. And so what Ben decided was like, well, obviously we get rid of the plates. And I said, we're not getting rid of those plates. You must be out of your head.
You also need to know that I don't like storing stuff that we don't use.
Yeah.
At all. Like if you look at our house, all of our stuff is back here.
All of the tchotchkes are here.
That's it. Like our house is, I'll give you a quick rotation for you, but there's a blanket over here, but whatever. Like there is not a whole lot of stuff in our house.
That's cute. Yeah. I like that.
This is my 360 camera. Look at that.
Yeah, we do some artwork on the walls, obviously. There's the Emmy, of course, you're not getting rid of that. There are cute little couple tchotchkes over there.
Lost one of them already.
I said that, I would still like to have, but the majority of the sort of things are basically right here, and they're not.
She actually had, in order to protect stuff from me, which I did not know she did for a number of years, she'll take them, she'll stick them in a bin and hide it under her bed so that I can't see them, which works, and I actually don't care.
Yep, because if you can't see them, they don't exist to you.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. If I can't see them, then they don't exist. But as soon as I can see it, I'm like,
Right. So
have we used this in 6 months? If not, let's trash it.
It's not even 6 months. You give me like 3. Doesn't matter. The point is that, thank you, by the way, that we were debating about these plates, and you always hated the Fiesta ware plates, and I understand that. But you wanted to get rid of all of the plates, and I patently refused to do so. Was it these that you wanted to, you wanted to keep one or the other? I wanted to keep both. Right. And you said you said I had to get rid of both.
Yeah, because what are we going to use? Like, we don't need either.
Right. Like this is not our house.
We
We are not hosting people. Like we don't need play sets for 12 or whatever it was.
It was
like
a lot.
It was a lot. Well, because I think we had a play set of 6 for each,
Mm-hmm.
I think is what it came down to. And that conversation, that argument got so heated that I walked away.
We were at the Mall of America continuing to argue about this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just, it did not relent. This was a
Mm-hmm.
multi-day building up, and getting worse. And we're usually pretty good. Actually, it was you that was really good at deflating these things. Because at the time, Ben was very, very headstrong. Now I'm just very headstrong.
I will take that.
Actually, I think I've gotten a lot better.
Yes, you have.
Yeah. And so you would constantly either fall on your sword or just agree and be like, yeah, no, you're totally right. We'll do it your way. Being like,
Oh, it's just easier that way.
Yeah, you're like, I don't
But
care.
I wasn't going to back down from this.
You were not, and I was not used to that. And I was not going to back down either because
Cool.
this is a battle and I must win this battle.
Right.
And yeah, we were yelling at each other in the
In
Mall of
a public
America,
space,
in
yeah.
a public space in the Mall of America, not in a store, like in one of the hallways.
Yeah.
And you turned and walked away.
Because I was done.
I
I wasn't having that conversation any longer. Like, B, there has to be another solution that you are obviously not even listening to, which, by the way, under the bed would have worked for all of those plates. Now I wish I had thought of that sooner. I could have saved all of my stupid plates by just putting them under the bed.
Yep. If I don't know it exists, it's fine.
I didn't know that trick at the time. And that was that. And because I was done with that conversation,
mm-hmm.
like I was not having that, at least not at that time, like until I could think of a better solution.
This was the first big one. This was the first nearly married, because the moment you turned your back and walked away without actually completing like any of that,
mm-hmm.
you just stopped and walked away.
And I knew that.
Right. I was so insulted
mm-hmm.
by that action
mm-hmm.
at like the core of my being.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to agree.
Mm-hmm.
We can say that we're going to shelf this for now and not talk about it right now.
Which I had tried.
Mm.
That was the thing. Like, I tried every single technique to try and like get this to be like, this does not have to happen right now. We are not going to converse about this right now. Like, we can come up with a better solution. Like, I need more time to think about things. You're like, I have given you time, and you haven't. And it was one of those. And I've just felt so unheard, so unlistened to, so like, you're not making any compromises for me, and I make compromises for you all of the time. Like, this is not happening, and I refuse to continue down this path. And if this is the way that you're going to treat me, I will not stand for it, and I will walk away from this. And it hurt. It hurt me as soon as I'm tearing up now. As soon as I did that, because I knew that that's what that meant to you.
Mm.
I knew that that could be the end of our entire relationship, and that all I would have at the end of that would be plates. And I knew that, but I refused to be treated that way. I refused to just not be listened to. I refused to be disrespected, and I refused to not be given the chance to try and solve something that was not fair at all. And so I did. I turned my back on you, and I cried the whole way. And then I realized very quickly that I didn't know what I was going to do, because I might have to walk home.
And Mall of America was nowhere near where we were. For the record, I was in the wrong. Like, everything.
I wasn't right, though. I wasn't 100% right.
But no, you weren't 100% right. But you were definitely way more right than I was, because you weren't being listened to. You weren't being respected. And you had made compromises and I had not. So of those elements, the things that upset you, you were absolutely right. And I was absolutely wrong. And I didn't see that. And I didn't understand that. I had a very low EQ at the time. And you have worked on me for a number of years to enhance my EQ. And it is not great, but it is so much better than it was before. Willing to compromise, willing to listen. Like, the Ben you know now that everyone knows from tomorrow.
Jamie.
Even the Ben.
I suppose even the Ben, yes.
Even the Ben from, no, it'd be from tomorrow forward. I wouldn't even say Space Vidcast. And especially the Jamie. Like, Jamie is the same person, but way better with all of these things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're two different humans, but like I refused to back down. I refused
You refused to
lose.
back down, right? Because you didn't want to lose.
I didn't want to lose,
which is hilarious because
I didn't
like,
understand that. Like
losing.
ultimately, yeah, I'm not. In fact, by not losing, I may inadvertently lose more than by winning the. Like if I win the battle, I might end up losing the war.
Right.
Right, and I didn't understand that, and I just didn't have the EQ, and so. In that, I will say that like we both take a little bit of fault, but absolutely. I take the majority of it. Absolutely, hands down, I take the majority of it. So that was our first big fight. That one was one was all on me.
Okay, so once I turned my back, like what made you? You had to confront
that was like
me.
a dagger, yeah, because you turned your back, and I was like you can't, you don't. To this day, don't do that. Like if you want to just perma-end things with me, do that. And I'll be like, cool, you are dead to me forever now. You're different, right? You get more things. I was livid. In fact,
you didn't come after me right away either, because I didn't run away from you.
Shocked.
I walked away.
You walked away, and you made it a little ways, and I walked the other direction because I felt my anger just skyrocket above where I could deal with it.
Yeah.
And so I realized that anything I said in that moment would be a very bad thing. Like,
which is hilarious because you already said some shit that was already bad.
Oh, it was going to be so much worse. Like, so much worse.
Because you already said some stuff that was very hurtful.
But, and I don't know that I meant to. I think, and that was the other thing. Like, I would say whatever I needed to do to win.
Right.
Which was super wrong and terrible of me. It was super wrong and terrible. Also, imagine being my parents and growing up with a hell child like that. Right? Because that wasn't just with you.
Yeah.
That was with everyone.
Yeah.
Because I was used to, here's the thing, and I'm not making excuses. Let me be clear. I was wrong, but I was used to being right.
Yeah.
Like I was freakishly good at the things that I was good at, right? And I found those things that I was good at, and people would argue with me, and I could just destroy them.
Yeah.
I could just absolutely obliterate it. And so it gets to your head. Like when you're stupid good at things and you start winning awards at stupid young ages, and like you're doing these big, huge programs that are really, it goes to your ego. And then you think that you can do no wrong, not just in the areas that you're really good at, but in all of life. And that was fundamentally my issue, is I didn't realize that, no, I'm only good at these things. I'm terrible at everything else. So, which by the way, I am only good at those things. I'm pretty terrible, especially cooking. Right. So, I needed a moment to cool off, so I made one lap, not around the whole area, but like there were kind of those offshoots that would let you like swoop to the other side and then come around.
Yeah.
So I did one of those. I swooped over, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to give this up. Like, I'm gonna have to release this. This is gonna end our marriage over plates. And I'm like, what a stupid thing to end our marriage over. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And so I went to go find you, and I couldn't, because you had gone. I assumed that you had. What I figured out, I don't know if this is true. I realized, okay, well, she's not here. She's going to need to get home somehow.
Yep.
So she's probably going to go call someone. So I need to go find some phone banks.
Yep.
And so I started going.
That's how old we are. There's back in the day where there were phone banks.
Phone banks. Yeah, no cell phones, phone banks. So I started looking for that. And I think that's where I found you. In tears or on the verge of tears? One of the two.
Oh, in tears.
In tears.
As soon as I turned my back.
I was still pissed. And so I think.
Yes, you were.
I was like,
I remember that.
Because, yeah, I had come to like rational conclusions, but my anger levels, instead of being here, was like here. Again, I'm wrong. Like, let me stress, I was wrong. But that's still how I felt at the time.
Yeah.
And to me, at the time, it felt right. And so I'm like, let's go. in my scary.
I didn't want to go.
I get this like viper.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I didn't want to go.
I don't think I took no for an answer. I'm like, we're leaving, or you're like, no. I'm like, don't be dumb. You don't have a ride. Let's go home. Said something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
I wouldn't have said don't be dumb.
No.
Because then you would not have gone with me.
Oh yeah, no.
I said something else. I definitely said something else though. I didn't know that at the time though.
No, for sure.
And this was before 5 love languages. So this is our first big, like, again, over freaking plates. Now what's funny is I hated both of the plates.
Actually, it's funny that you say that about 5 love languages,
Mm-hmm.
because you will note that I never once laid a hand on you during that argument. That was
You did not.
That was normally my
Mm-hmm.
my self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
Was if you called me stupid, if you called me dumb, if you attacked me in that way verbally, then I almost always came off physically aggressive.
Yeah, you would.
And
this is how we really don't fight much anymore. Now that's mostly because of me and my willingness to listen and compromise now. Well, it is.
It is.
Like I had a lot of growing to do as a human. I just did. And it's something that I've realized, and now it's something that I've embraced and understand that I will always be growing as a human, and I will never be done, and I'm okay with that. And I will get things wrong. That's okay too, as long as I understand them, I learn from them, and I fix them. Brendan is basically saying this series needs to be a movie with some popcorn. I'm glad you're enjoying our fights. I think it's the masculine traits that maybe he tried to assert. That I had tried to assert. Maybe. I think I was just very headstrong. I think I still am headstrong. I don't know. Had I been born female at birth and we still gotten together, because it's a whole weird thing of like, I am who I am because of my gender.
Right.
So like, I grew up the way I did, and society treated me a certain way because of my gender.
Right.
And so that path led me down a different way than if I had been born female.
Yeah. But
But assuming for a moment that the path was the same, it's just the gender that was different,
mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I still would have had that same argument with you, just in a higher octave. I'm pretty sure.
See what you did there?
No, I think, oh, it might have been worse, because like trying to deal with the emotions.
Keep the emotion down, yeah.
Because I finding that fun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Which, as Lisa said, by the way, earlier, these are plates that we still have. Yes.
I hated them at first. They actually have grown on me, and now I kind of love them. So
I fought for these because Fiesta Ware, I knew I could purchase again if I needed to. I've never seen a reproduction of green milk glass plates. And
that's
so therefore,
part of why I love them, is because I can't get them anywhere. Also, it's terrible when we accidentally break one.
Oh, and we've broken a number.
We can't get them anywhere. And like they don't come across on camera very well, but like if you hold it up, they actually like let some of the light through.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's glass.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's really quite delightful.
I love those. This is another set of plates, and this is the dinner plate, by the way, that my mom found at a garage sale. There's these plates. There's plates that are like about half the size, and there's this teeny tiny little bowls, and then there's a serving dish that's probably a little bit like another quarter bigger than this, with this really awesome pattern on it.
Yep.
They are these, in case anybody cares. I know it's backwards, but
everyone's saying these match our design aesthetic. They really do.
They really do.
They really do.
I love them.
Like, and actually both of these go together really, really well. The greens don't quite match, although on camera they probably will look fine. They look fine on camera. Right, so it all goes together really, really well. And people are in the chat are saying, "Oh, it's translucent." It's not quite translucent. It is mostly opaque, with like translucent tendencies. Like actually, you can kind of see my hands sort of through it,
green
right?
Milk glass, yeah.
Right. I mean,
yeah, that's what it is. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes called jadeite.
I still don't like Fiesta Ware, personally.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, it's fine.
But I do love these dishes, and
ultimately that was the compromise. Was that I had to get rid of one set because they were taking up too much space. To be fair, they were taking up way too much room. We did not need them at all. Yes, but I got to keep one set. I don't remember where I stored them. I might have stored them in the closet. I might have stored them under the bed. I really don't recall at all. But we didn't even break them out until we got our own place, which was a couple of years later.
Yeah, it was a while.
So, yeah. In any case, that was that fight. That was the first major fight that we ever had, and it was bad.
Yeah, it was not good.
It was really bad.
Sorry, our chat stalled, so I'm trying to get that fixed.
No problem.
Maybe
Franciscan atomic ware. All right, perfect. Nice, perfect. Thank you. Space Cookies has Yeah, because I could use a couple extra. We've broken some plates. We've broken some bowls. It's really sad.
Yeah. Like
The funny thing is that like the flat bowls, I don't think we've broken any of those, but like a number of the plates have broken.
I felt so bad because I had one in a microwave once, and it just in the microwave it went boom. And then like as I was taking it out, it was just cracked in half, and I have no idea why. So the plates, that was the first big argument.
Yeah.
The second big argument was actually here in California.
Yeah, so many years later.
Now, in this time, we had actually read the 5 love languages. We had figured each other out quite a bit better because, like you were saying, we like to joust with each other a little bit. Like, it's fun, right? It's like quasi-insulting quips.
You're trying to outwit one another.
Yeah, you're trying to outwit. That's exactly what it is. Trying to outwit the other person. I usually lose. She is freaking witty. Like, I've learned a lot about wit from her. I would not be nearly as fast as witty as I am if it wasn't for you. And we all know that. Notice she's not arguing. The thing is, like, you can take it too far.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we would be doing pretty well. And then all of a sudden, on a dime, she would turn on me.
Yeah.
And like it super insulted. Like we were just going back and forth, playful banter, and then she is like laser eyes, angry, like I don't like, whoa.
Yeah.
And what she would do is she would get so angry she would hit me.
Yeah.
No, not like, but just like, you know, like yeah. So
that was okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was for. She her love language is talking. What is that love language called? Talking?
Well, there's quality time.
I mean, that one too, a little bit.
Gift giving.
No.
Acts of service. Physical touch. And?
The one that you are. Talking.
Which is?
Talking.
Words.
Words of affirmation.
Very good.
So
not just words.
It's words.
Not any words.
It's talking.
It's the nice ones.
Like how I call it talking.
I'm glad I hit you earlier because you deserve to be hit. Go on.
Oh my God, I'm a terrible human. Oh. So, words of affirmation. And so I would say something like, I would just call her stupid. And there would be like, I can feel you flinch when I just said that. Like, I felt you go, like you knew it was coming. I had to like.
I know. There are some trigger words. So I moved around, not a lot when I was a kid, but a decent amount. And I didn't have to deal with a lot of bullying, thankfully. But the one thing that always really drove me crazy was appearing stupid, appearing dumb, appearing uneducated. And the thing is that when you move in the middle of the year, teachers back in the day tried to do their best because the obvious elephant in the room is that there's a new kid in class. And so what they do is they bring the new kid up to the front of the class, or they did at the time, and said, okay, everyone, obviously we have a new kid, this is their name. Well, they're from this state. Now everyone knows, and everyone, you can kind of introduce yourselves and what have you. And kids are kids, and they're dumb, and they're stupid, and they're annoying, and they're mean. And some of them are very lovely and caring and wonderful, but my experience was most of them weren't. And so I would just get a lot of, also they didn't understand. And when you don't understand something, it's difficult to create that understanding. And I also didn't understand. So there would be these things where I would move in the middle of the year, and we would be in the new school, we would be practicing handwriting, cursive. I'm not sure if they even still teach that anymore, but we would have to do cursive things, and I wouldn't know any of it. I had absolutely no idea what was going on. I never had done a capital C before, capital A, or anything along those lines. But I was really good at math. I was well beyond where they were teaching in math. I was like, why aren't you guys even doing division yet? I don't understand. Because each classroom or each state had different mandates, right? And so some areas I would be way ahead, and other areas I'd be way behind. And particularly the areas that I was way behind, I would get teased about, like, why don't you even know how to do this? That sort of thing. And so I didn't like that appearance. And it happened at the age of 10 and again at the age of 13. which are not really fantastic ages, A, to move, but then B, to perceivably be left behind or far behind in any sort of situation in school. So I oftentimes was looked at as being dumb or stupid or just uneducated, just generally speaking, because there were certain things that I didn't know. And then the areas that I did know, there wasn't a need for me to be like, I know division. That just wasn't a thing that I was going to do. So I just stayed quiet until we finally would catch up to wherever I was in the previous school. I would just do really well. And that was it. And I just stayed quiet about it. So it was always a trigger for me to be looked at as being less than in that way, being called stupid, being called dumb.
Did not know that at the time.
Which to be fair, I wasn't really cognizant of it at the time either.
Yep. So then I would call you stupid or dumb, playful, right?
Playful, yes,
not mean.
Absolutely. No,
I don't think she's stupid, but that word would come out in one of my little jabs back, and then she would get pissed, and so then she would hit me.
Yep.
The thing is, I'm physical touch, and so I don't like it when people touch me. Touch has meaning.
Yeah.
Right. So don't touch me, and when you hit me, that has meaning.
Right.
That is deep meaning to me,
and negative.
And so
obviously.
you set me off, and I'm upset, and so now we're mad at each other, and we have no idea why, because 30 seconds ago we were just fine.
Right, because as soon as you called me stupid, I hit you, and for as far as I was concerned, that was the end of that part of it.
Right.
Like, cool. Well, you're not calling me stupid anymore, so good.
Because now I'm mad at you.
Right, and we're done there, and I'm fine. But then you'd be mad at me still, and then I was like, why are you still mad at me?
Because you hit me.
So
right. So we had to deal with that for a number of years, and then we read the 5 love languages, and there was this moment of, yep.
That's what that means.
Yep. And so then it took real effort from both of us to not do that anymore.
Yes.
I think it took more effort from me because EQ was not that high, and so it was just and I enjoyed jousting with you. It was fun, and it was it can be difficult. So it took me a little while to figure it out. I think I've gotten a lot better. I know you've definitely gotten a lot better. I can't remember the last time you've hit me.
I mean,
there's one
on camera. Okay.
She put her diamond sapphire ring in my eye once, but that was an accident.
Yes.
And you're like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'm fine. I'm bleeding out of my eye.
You weren't bleeding out of your eye.
Felt like I could see dots. It was terrible. She had the most amazing wedding ring. Actually, that's not true. The most amazing engagement ring. It was so good. We just left it as the wedding ring, and I gave it back to her for our wedding. And I think we were both okay with that because we were like, no, this ring is amazing. Neither one of us wears a ring anymore, not for any societal reasons, but it started with me first. The rings, I work in racks at Giggity, and the rings were getting crushed by the side of the racks. And there was one time when it smashed down on my finger, and it was really bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad. And so
you crushed a number of rings.
I've crushed rings. And then they get and then they can really hurt to get off or can damage my finger.
Yeah.
And so after 3 of them, I think it was at least 2. It might have been the third one.
Might have been 3.
I started damaging it. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I can't. And so we still have them upstairs somewhere.
Oh yeah, they're in the safe.
So I haven't worn a ring for years. To the point where I don't even have a you get that mark.
Yeah.
I don't even have that anymore.
Yeah, me too. It's weird.
She would continue to wear her ring, and in fact, you even had it through at least the beginning of SpaceX.
It was the first year. First
year of SpaceX. So that is 6 years ago then?
I just hit 7. I will have lost the ring about 7 years ago in August or September or something like that.
Didn't actually lose the ring. Her ring we found once, and we've been looking for a replacement for about 7 years.
Yeah.
Something that we love.
Yep.
Cannot find. We're getting closer because now we'll talk about rings in a moment. Okay, bye, Brendan. Oh, he'll be right back. So what happened was it was a true tension set. It was not like a tension with a bar. It was round, right? And it came up and it grabbed onto the stone, and it pushed onto the stone, keeping the stone in place. And it was it was like a platinum ring with this giant, like 1.5 carat sapphire. It was a giant sapphire.
Remember how I said I really like the cobalt dishes? It was like that color.
It was gorgeous.
It was beautiful.
It was a really great, it was a really nice sapphire. And
Grover approved of that sapphire.
yeah, everyone loved that ring. Everyone loved, like, we all saw it and went, wow.
It was beautiful.
It was expensive, but it was worth it. It was just incredible. And so, and it could never be sized. That was the other downside.
Yep.
Because it was a true tension set. Lisa says, why not find a custom jeweler to recreate it? They had a special process in order to make this. You can't find true tension sets because you basically can't make them because the metal wants to flex. And as soon as the metal flexes this way, it drops the stone. Mm-hmm. And they basically had a guarantee. They're like, our metal will not flex in a way that will drop the stone, but you can never size this ring. Mm-hmm. Like, we can break the ring, mm-hmm. move your stone to a new ring, mm-hmm. but you can never have this sized because as soon as you size it, it will flex and you're done. So to be fair, you had that ring for a decade?
Yeah.
Well over, it was over a decade.
Yeah. I lost it in 2013. We got married in 2001.
Yeah, so over a decade, 12 years?
Yeah.
So,
I didn't lose the ring.
We still have the ring.
Yeah.
We lost the stone because it eventually did, even though they had a guarantee on it, it released the stone, like it lost its pressure and the stone, it pulled apart and the stone left and you were devastated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell even by just telling the story that you're still devastated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have rather lost the ring and still have the stone.
Yeah, I understand.
Which is funny because the stone was chipped. Like, I was hard on my rings.
Yeah.
I was also hard on my rings.
Me too. Yeah, like, yeah, exactly. Then I was like, okay, no problem. We have a lifetime warranty on this. Company went out of business. Lifetime warranty doesn't help when the company goes out of business. Then I was like, okay. Even if there isn't a lifetime warranty, we will find another tension set just like it, and we would get you that. Mm-hmm. Can't find it anywhere. Can't find it anywhere at all. So now we're at a point where I'm transitioning to female, right? And I'm 11 months in, and we're coming up on our 20. Mm-hmm. 20-year wedding anniversary. Mm-hmm. And that will be next year in June. Mm-hmm. Brendan, what was the company called? I don't remember. I really don't.
Oh, yeah, I don't either. So
we were married at Walt Disney World 19 years ago. 19 years ago this June.
Very good.
Thanks. So we were married at Walt Disney World. Mm-hmm. That's part of where our love of Disney came from. Now, you had always you had always loved Disney, right?
Yeah.
Like Mickey Mouse was your imaginary friend.
Yeah.
Your imagination makes me sad.
Whatever. Right. That's how my imagination still is, by the way. You know this.
I'm like creating entire sci-fi worlds and messing with things. And you're
part
like,
of I take other people's stories and I make them better when you're not paying attention to.
All right, that's fair. Ooh, were they better Mickey stories?
I don't know. He got in trouble a lot.
Stupid Mickey. That actually would be a better Mickey story. I feel like that'd be like bad Mickey. He's got a goatee.
So what Jamie's referring to is that I was born in Florida, Plantation, for those of you asking. It's a Miami-ish area.
You used to say Hollywood.
I used to say Hollywood until I had to. I was looking at the passport stuff again. It actually says Plantation on my passport. In any case, Miami area, generally speaking. And I was born in, right on. I was born in 1977. And
cool.
I know the Magic Kingdom in Florida opened in 1971. So it was still very, very popular. Obviously, not that it's not popular now, but it really kind of infiltrated most of Florida life. And as a kid, I of course was really fascinated with it and I always wanted to go, and I really loved Mickey and all of that kind of stuff. And so Mickey was my imaginary friend. The one that I remember, I think there are some kids who have like imaginary friends that are fully fleshed out in their head. Like, I don't know, Josie, and, and she's got red hair, and, she likes that. Like, I didn't have that. I did, I don't know if I've ever told you this. I would set up my stuffed animals and I would do commercials for them, but they weren't like imaginary friends. Like, it wasn't like Toy Story where I thought that they were like alive in any way. But I would perform sometimes for them, but I didn't really have, it's funny. I didn't really have imaginary friends like that. But what would happen was I would leave a mess of all of my toys everywhere, and my mom would sarcastically or facetiously be like, "Who left this mess in here?"
You bet.
And it wouldn't be me, because that means I would get in trouble. So I'd say, "Mickey did it." And my mom would be like, "What?" It was like, Mickey Mouse did it. And so that was like the extent of this imaginary friend. It's not like I was climbing trees with Mickey, or like swimming with Mickey, or like out in the front yard, like playing with anthills with Mickey. Like, it wasn't that fleshed out in that way.
So
Mickey was my scapegoat, but it's easier to say that he was my imaginary
Still
friend.
my scapegoat too. So your love of Disney kind of started then at a younger age.
Yeah,
You
and
grew up in Florida. You got to go to the parks slightly more often, like once a year.
Yeah, it was once or twice before we moved, and then we moved to Florida, or moved from Florida to New York. My grandparents brought me like one more time before I was 13, and then right in there as well, I had a project where we had to read a book, a biography or autobiography about somebody, and I picked Walt Disney. And then with that, our school actually was really brilliant. We had to create a project around the information that we got out of the book. So I created a board game with
We should recreate that board game.
I sort of wish I had it. Yeah, my dad did the artwork on it, so he created. Yeah, my dad draws really well. He recreated some of the characters on the board.
That's
and
cool.
all of the questions it was all trivia questions. It was all based off of stuff that I had to know from the book itself, which was kind of cool. Yeah.
So love of Disney from a young age.
Yeah.
Now, grew up in Minnesota, so going to the Disney parks was a much bigger treat, right?
Yeah.
Because my parents didn't really like flying, so we drive everywhere. So that's a multi-day drive to wherever we're going. And I know we went to Disneyland and Walt Disney World. I know we at least went to Disneyland.
You as a family.
Oh no, we went to Walt Disney World, but we got chicken pox.
Oh, that's right.
And so we had to leave and come home because that's when all of the kids got chicken pox. And there's a picture of me naked in the bathtub, looking miserable, covered head to toe in dots, just looking at the camera like, why are you taking this picture?
I'm so glad your parents did too. It's so amazing.
Yep. Bring them on sometime with all the photos. And then they can tell all the stories of how awful I was. Lisa has never had chickenpox. Well, then you have no immunity to chickenpox, which is probably good because it means like chickenpox, you get an immunity, but like it causes other potential issues. Anyhow, so Disney was moderately special just because like going to Disney parks was a big deal, and like you didn't really get to do that. It was like a once or twice in a lifetime sort of thing. And then we're about to get married, and I like to do things different. I don't like doing what everyone else does.
What?
I know.
Here's the look of shock on my face.
I look at what everyone else is doing, and I'm like, hey, let's go this way. And I don't know. I like to be unique. I like to be my own self. So I was like, we're going to do some sort of fun destination wedding type thing, like themed somehow, so that because I like cohesive things that like fit together. And my idea was we would do a Renaissance Festival wedding. It would be fun. We would all get to dress up. There's probably a sign. So I thought that'd be pretty cool. And your reaction was, I believe it was, oh, hell no. I think is pretty close. Is that accurate?
That's fairly accurate.
Yeah, I think two reasons.
Why is that?
Two reasons. Yeah. One, the girlfriend that I had prior.
The blonde
girlfriend. The cute blonde girlfriend
that I had.
The younger cute blonde girlfriend.
I'm older, remember. Go on.
who in fact was the first one to truly break my heart, I think.
Mhm.
The other ones I was kind of like, I'm done with you. I said, no, not a high EQ. Like, what do you want? I was a terrible human. She broke my heart. She absolutely did. And that was the other thing in the theater. It wasn't just I forgot to tell that part of the story. My grandfather.
I thought you were just skipping it.
No, I forgot about it.
Oh yeah.
My grandfather had died, and then like on that same day, my girlfriend broke up with me via text message in the mid 90s or late 90s, I suppose, at that point.
She paid a lot of money to do that.
She paid money to break up with me on a text message.
That's the important part here.
It was unfathomable at that time that you would get broken up via text because you're like, what the hell?
Because it was like money per character or money per word or something
no,
like
I
that?
think per thing sent at that point. So
dumb.
like, and then I'm like, I gotta do this. I gotta go to the funeral. Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around all of this. And you know, it's a funeral, so it's not like he had died that day. She knew that I had that. Like, that was not okay of her, but whatever.
We're talking about terrible human for a second.
Yeah, no kidding. So, like, and it was all of the stuff swirling. So like, it just devastated me. And I think it's part of the reason why I just needed to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
That anywhere that wasn't, because home would remind me of her.
Right, of course.
Right. So
you wanted to have this Renaissance wedding, and I said no because
one of the things I did was we had gone to the Ren Fest with Emily. Was it?
Are you asking me what your ex-girlfriend's name is?
Yeah.
I sure don't know.
I think it was Emily. We're gonna say her name was Emily.
Great. It is now.
I had purchased her a dress, and I'm not gonna lie, she looked stunning in that dress. Also, not gonna lie, I was super jealous. I did not realize that at the time, but like going back, super jealous. Oh my God! Oh, so many things I'm realizing right now about that moment. So. Oh my God.
See how you've always wanted to be a blonde bombshell?
Apparently.
See how it doesn't make any sense that you and I are together?
So, God.
At least you are the younger blonde. Does that make you feel better?
Maybe. So she broke up with me. I said I want to do a Ren Fest thing, and she knew that I still wasn't over all of this. And part of it was because of this stupid freaking dress. And so I had purchased her this dress, and this was like $100 and some odd dress. And for me at the time, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
That was like a lot of money. And when we broke up, she was an artist. Actually, her art wasn't.
I didn't.
I know. I felt like you were gonna say something. I got a tattoo of some of her line art that she did on my arm before I did the dragon. The dragon covers up that line art.
That part was not good.
That part was not good. It was not good line art.
It was not good.
Like, I did it. I thought I liked the symbolism behind it.
Yeah.
Again, whatever. Covered it up with the dragon that I'm now having removed. Right. So, by the way, here's the stacks. Like, it's getting lighter.
It is.
So, we break up, and I'm like, okay, well, that sucks. And then she has the balls, because that's what this one took. She's like, you can return the artwork anytime you want. And I'm like, but you gave me the artwork as a gift. And she's like, but it's my artwork. And I'm like, but it was a gift. And I like your artwork. I would like something to remember you by. And she's like, F no, return the artwork. And so I said, all right, well, if I'm going to return the artwork, I think it's only fair that you return the dress. And she
said, no, that was a gift.
And she's like, no, that was a gift. I'm like, that's what I just said. See how that feels? And she's like, well, what are you going to do with the dress? I'm like, I don't know. Well, I do now. But like,
sweetie, you wouldn't have fit into that dress.
At that time, I would have.
No.
Oh, yeah, no, this was.
She was tiny.
Oh, she was tiny. Yeah, she was smaller than me.
Baby girl.
Whatever.
You couldn't have fit into that dress.
Whatever.
I know, sweetheart.
Yeah. So, like, I was just done with her. At this point, I'm just done with her.
Right.
I'm like, all right, I will return everything. Keep the dress. Never talk to me again. And to be fair, she never did.
This is true. But this is also why I didn't want to have a Renaissance fair wedding.
Because, like, all it's going to do is drag all of that up. Also, like dress dragging through the mud. It smells like poop.
Oh,
It literally, like if you've been to a Ren Fest, it smells like hay and poop.
Wait. Not all Ren fairs or Ren Fests do smell like that. The one in Minnesota, it was a permanent fairground, which is really cool for that. Permanently for the Renaissance Fair.
With live animals.
Which actually, I think we called ours the Renaissance Festival. In any case, but live animals, and it would run for 2 months.
It was a long time.
It was a really long time, and usually the people who worked there stayed and lived there. But and everything was kind of built in and what have you. But it was not on concrete. It was on this hilly, not level ground, dirt, hay, animal stuff, live animals. Yes, better live animals than dead animals. Yes,
Lisa.
Probably some dead animals at some point too. So the whole place was fairly realistic for the most part, and it also just didn't appeal to me in that way either. But Emily, as we were calling her, was the best excuse.
I'm pretty sure that was her name.
Sure.
So my thing wasn't it needed. I wasn't locked on the idea of a Ren Fest.
Right.
I was locked on the idea of a themed wedding.
Right.
And so we had not decided what we wanted our wedding to be.
No.
But you realized that we could honeymoon at Walt Disney World. And I was like,
Disney World has honeymoons, and I was so excited for that. We should go back to Disney World. This would be so much fun.
I'm a kid inside. I'd only been to Disney World like 2 or 3 times in my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, heck yeah, we're going to Disney World for a honeymoon. And that's when you realized, actually, they do weddings too. And added bonus, check what you want out of this packet. And the whole thing is done. And I was like, I am sold.
Version of this story for sure. But that's basically what it was. Is that I was looking into honeymoons and I realized that they did weddings. And then once I started to get into that process, they were like, look, sometimes people are from out of state or out of town. So what we can do is just send you this packet. You fill it out with the things you need or want. And if there's a particular song that you want, if it's a particular flavor of cake that you want. They also do, if you happen to live nearby or are willing to go there for every single one of those decisions, you can have a cake tasting. You can look at flowers. You can pick out your dress. You can do all of the regular traditional wedding stuff there if you want. Or if you can't or don't want in this particular case, they'll just send you the packet. You fill it out and send it back.
Astro YYZ, hello and welcome. And Astro YYZ likes your t-shirt. Mrs. Canoeing.
I can canoe.
I don't miss canoeing.
I don't really miss canoeing.
Nope.
But that's okay.
And goodbye, Space Cookies.
Yes. Bye.
Have a great one.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. Disney sounds great. And so part of my love for Disney was born in that moment of getting married at Walt Disney World because it created an amazing experience. It got me what I was looking for, which was kind of a themed wedding. Like I wanted a theme. And it was awesome because you're like in this theme park. And so you're immersed in all of these different lands and worlds, which really works with the way my mind works, right? I really love that. My brain still loves that. And so that's where my love of Disney started. Now we're coming up on 20 years. So actually, let's back up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So almost 9 years ago, we get the call from SpaceX that we're going to hire you. Mm-hmm. And so we send you out here almost immediately. Like they call to say, we're going to hire you. I'm like, cool, I need to give 2 weeks. And they're like, do you need to give all 2 weeks? I'm like, yes, I need to give all 2 weeks. Like, fine. So that next weekend, we sent you down here and you did a Space Up conference. And then you started looking for like ways to help us move down here permanently. So from the time I got the call to the time that you were here was I think it was actually less than 1 week. I think it was close to 1 week or less than 1 week.
No, I think it was a little bit over. I don't remember for sure. I came in the first week of August and your first day in California was August 13th. So I want to say it was closer to like 10 days, a little bit over a week, but it's right
somewhere around a week.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're out here doing all of that. And then I fly out here and you've taken care of a good bunch of stuff so that because I was still working, I would, I was the primary moneymaker at the time. So it was like, I can't stop because we need me to make some money so we can literally move. And then fun fact, I actually took a pay cut to come out here and a cost of living increase to come out here. I believed in SpaceX that much. Not almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago, I was like, this is the future of our species. And we weren't making a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
And we weren't entirely sure how we were going to make ends meet.
Yeah.
But I knew at the core of my being that this is something we needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did it, and we moved out here. And the very, very first thing we did, keep in mind, I had been working the entire time. I was exhausted. I continued to work for those 2 weeks, and then I left and immediately came here, no break in between.
Right.
When we hit the ground, the first thing—
You landed on a Saturday.
I landed on a Saturday, so I didn't have to be at work that day. Right. I was going to work that Monday.
Right. But I
ended on Friday, and my start date was Monday.
Yep. And I picked you up at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
We loaded up the car with your luggage.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, the apartment that SpaceX had set us up with for a little while, a couple of weeks, I was like right around the corner. So we can go there, if you want to relax, like whatever you want, I can show you around if you want, kind of thing. And you're like, no, I want to go to Disney. I was like, yeah, no, we can do that. That's not a problem.
No, we're going to Disney now.
And he was like, no, I just want to go straight to Disney. I was like, no, that's like 30 miles away from LAX. I don't understand what you're talking about.
The very first thing I did when we came to California was not go to my hotel room.
Yep.
It was not go take a nap.
Yep.
It was not refresh myself.
Yep.
It was to buy an annual pass for both of us
Yep.
in Disneyland. That was literally the very first thing
Yep.
I did as a California resident, which was tricky because I wanted the California discount.
Yep.
And we didn't have a California address. And
Yep.
the Disney cast member was great. I'm like, I'm just moving here. I've got a letter there. It's fine. So they took care
fantastic.
of me. It was great.
It was really nice.
Astro YYZ, something tells me you like Disney. And that came from, that love of Disney came from, for me, our marriage and getting married at Walt Disney World. And so now, back to the rings. I'm transitioning to female. Poorly and slowly, but I'm getting there. I know it's because it's funny. I'm actually, this is doing well. Like on camera, the cheeks work well. The hair is doing better, but it's still 6 months. Voice, I think, is the next big one because facial hair is starting to get there. I think once I'm allowed to go back in for more facial hair removal, I think I only have 5 or 6 bulk sessions left. So it's coming along. It's coming along. Anyhow, it's amazing how far I've gone in just 11 months.
Yeah.
It's hard when you are living with it every day. It's hard to see that change.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Brenda says I look fantastic. Thank you. I feel fantastic, right? Not that appearances should be important, but you look fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you. And they shouldn't be, but also it's kind of I didn't care. As Ben, I just didn't care because I was awkward. I wasn't right in my own body. It just was all wrong, and I just didn't care. But as Jami, it's starting to come together. I care a lot more. I want to be healthy. I want to look nice. I want it all. I want it all to be nice and to flow and to lot. I'm not super fond of the awkward in between stage that I'm in right now. But I'm getting there. It's part of the process. So transitioning to female, but we're also coming up on our 20 year. I'm combining 20 and wedding, our 20 year anniversary.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Our 20-year wedding anniversary. So that's next year, so a little over a year from now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I came this far in 11 months. Imagine, so imagine where I'm going to be in 15 more months. Should be pretty freaking far along at that point, right? So what we're thinking of doing is getting new wedding rings for both of us, matching wedding rings, which I think will be kind of nice. We still haven't found them. We're getting closer, I think, the moon. It's funny, a lot of the rings we really like, really inexpensive, $60 rings. I'm like, why am I liking this? This is not in my normal wheelhouse. Normally I'm like $100,000 ring, but no, it's there's some really, you have it?
Hold on, I'm working on it.
Wait, refresh. Yeah, that is one of the good. I do like that one. That's very reminiscent of the ring that she had before, although it's not an actual tension set.
It's just going to move on its own.
I was thinking the Moonstone one. That was a good one too. Although I think that one's better. I think that's a better wedding ring. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely not true tension, right? Because it's held all the way around. Brendan says, I can tell from just watching this that you're so much more confident and comfortable. And you knew me from the club, and at the club I started as Benjamin and transitioned
No.
to.
Starbucks.
Oh, you did know me from Starbucks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're right. Starbucks.
I don't know how you did that.
I don't know how I did that either. Starbucks. So even further back,
Yes.
how did I do that?
I have no idea.
That's gonna bother me. Anyhow, yeah, for a long time. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, so completely lost my place. Wedding rings, new wedding rings
Yep.
that are going to match, and then we're potentially like we started the process right before California went into lockdown of contacting Disneyland and doing Weddings by Disney for a vow renewal on our anniversary, on our 20th wedding anniversary. Still can't say it. At Disneyland, potentially right underneath the monorail because monorail is my shtick, and and we might both be in dresses. Unsure. Yeah,
I mean, I'm willing to wear a white tuxedo.
I think that would be hilarious too. But like, so that goes back to the I'm wearing suits still to these events because voice isn't quite there and facial hair isn't quite there yet. I think this I can kind of swoop in a way that I can fake it for the most part. So still wearing suits so that other people around me are comfortable in some higher end events. Like we did a Victorian Albert's dinner at Walt Disney World. We did Magic Castle here in California. These require that you dress up. And so the hilarious thing is like the hormones have taken hold, right? You can see it in my face. They've done stuff up here too. Not a lot, but like a bit, like more than a traditional man would have.
Usually, yeah.
Yep, usually, yeah. And so male dress shirts are not designed for that. Even if you have large pecs, like not quite to this level.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm putting on these shirts, which is, I'm down to a men's slim small, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's surprising. It's been a long time since I was slim anything, but I'm a men's slim small, except that, so it works really well up until about here, and then it just like pulls apart, and part of me is a little bit sad because it breaks the nice looking line that you get.
Yeah.
And so like aesthetically, it's not that pleasing.
Yeah.
However, it also means that transition is going, and so I'm like, I can't wear suits for much longer. So that makes me happy. And then I put the suit coat on and it covers everything. I'm like,
Aw.
yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, your tie covers the gaps too.
I know. It gets covered up. Gets covered up really nicely. It looks really good. Like it's terrible. Like now that I'm transitioning, this is the best I've ever looked in a suit. Like I'm like, damn. Yeah. I need tailored shirts. I will very, very soon. Or just not wear a suit anymore. Right? Like I've got some test dresses that to figure out where they need to cut me, because women's clothing is way more complicated than men's clothing. It's also interesting to see my closet very slowly shift from a male closet to a female closet. Mm-hmm. Right now I'd say it's actually fairly 50-50, and it's starting to lean more towards female than it is male. Mm-hmm. Just out of necessity, right? So like clothing cuts you differently, it hits you differently, and it has to account for different body parts. And so I don't have much choice if I want to be comfortable. A lot more baggy shirts like this now. Brendan, we need to go shopping. I'm cool with shopping. I mean, yeah, I've been having fun shopping. So I'm excited for our
20.
Our 20. It should be fun.
It'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
Any other stories?
I mean, we've been talking for a while.
For about 2 hours.
Yeah, I think we can probably give different stories at different times.
Yep. I think we're kind of winding down. I hope you guys had fun.
Yeah. Yes.
Astro, well, thanks for the video earlier. I hope you get responses. I assume that's the tomorrow video of like, tell me your favorite moments. Actually, that was going to be this video. And I might still do that. Actually, on this channel, I was going to use my 360 camera and record a little bit, snippet. And then that would also give you an opportunity to kind of use your phone so you could look around our house, feel a little bit more intimate.
Although you already saw it's not like there's a whole.
I know. I
here.
rotated the computer, so I would move the plates and the blanket away, right?
No, I'm just saying though, it's not like there's
Um,
stuff to really look at.
Also, I wanted to play with the 360 camera. Really, is what it comes down
Yeah,
to.
I know.
However, then I was like, we just decided to just go live because we figured everyone was bored in quarantine, and some long form YouTube content of us telling crazy stories about ourselves might be interesting. I don't know. If you enjoyed it, awesome. If not, let me know why not. Also, we'd love comments. Let me know what you'd like to see here. But I'm gonna potentially still work on that 360 video of tell us some stories that inspire you just in life in general, so that we can.
I can do some stuff behind the camera that I'll try to be quiet,
Mhm.
and then you wouldn't know unless you looked.
That might be fun. Yeah.
Like this.
All right. I think that's yeah. We've been going for 2 hours and 4 minutes, which is pretty
Yeah.
good. Although to be fair, my AMAs are usually more than 3 hours.
This is true, but we did a lot of talking. We didn't get a lot of questions.
No, that's because Jamie's bits is substantially smaller than tomorrow. So when we do a tomorrow AMA, it's like 100 to 200
I
concurrent
thought you
people.
were ba-dum-bum.
Oh, that's funny too. I didn't see that. Double ba-dum-bum. Oh my god. Oh man. Talk about that surgery. That one's terrifying.
It's okay.
Jamie's bits are substantially smaller. They are. Oh my gosh. Everything has been smallinated by so much. It's almost startling. And if I were to go back 2 years, it would be embarrassing, I think.
Mhm.
As a male, it would be
Sure,
embarrassing as
sure.
to how small things have gotten.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, keep going. More.
Well, they're not going to invert themselves, sweetheart.
One can dream. I can dream.
I guess.
Oh my god. No, I need to do.
Funny.
I'm gonna do facial feminization surgery first, fix the hairline issues. By that time, hopefully, this will be done. Blue Shield of Minnesota, Blue Shield of California has been just a terrible company to work with. I know insurance companies are bad, but they have not supported any of this. Yeah, we'll do whatever you want, except pay for it. I don't even know why we have insurance at this point. What good does it do if I have to pay for it all out of pocket? Also, I didn't even realize that was legal in the state of California. I thought they were required to help with transgender surgeries, but yep. But they don't. Yeah, if only says fascinating stream. Thank you for sharing. Well, if only you could have commented more.
Again, we were talking a lot. So
Yeah, we were. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. So yeah, the facial feminization surgery is up first, and then gender reassignment surgery (GRS) is currently slated for 2023, which is good because it's right around when the coronavirus will end. Sorry,
It's
too
terrible.
soon. Too soon.
It's terrible.
They're saying 2023. I'm on their schedule. I have it literally. I have a surgery date in my calendar.
Yeah.
But they're thinking they can bump it up to 2021, which timing-wise works out really well, right? Because that will be, I think it will be just after.
Although the corona probably pushed some of that back out again. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're not wrong. Anyhow, Brendan, top and bottom, yes. Yep, that's the plan. I think.
Well, face top and bottom.
Yeah, we'll say laughs and pneumonia. Yeah, so there are 3 surgeries fundamentally. There's facial feminization surgery, and then what we'll call top surgery, and then bottom surgery. And top surgery, you would think would be easy, right? Because, lots of women do that, and we're here in California, right next to Beverly Hills. There are, plastic throw a stone, you found 10 plastic surgeons that are great, right?
Yeah.
Except that the way a male skeletal structure and everything is set up is different than female. And no matter how many hormones I take, my skeletal structure is my skeletal structure is my skeletal structure. And so it actually does take a specialist to work with transgender women on top surgery to make sure that they get that right. I don't have to do that. I can just go to a general plastic surgeon, and I'm sure they'll do a decent job. But I don't want to
I'm putting all of this time and effort and literal pain. Like I'm electrocuting my face for hours at a time. Like I'm going to be opening up my face and moving. Like if I'm going to do this, let's do this right.
Yeah.
Right. So I think the facial feminization is going to come first, and that's why I've started working on my voice.
Mm-hmm.
Like hopefully you're starting to hear some changes. It's clearly still male, but like I'm working on it. Like it takes time. It takes 3 to 6 months for me to really potentially dial that in.
Mm-hmm.
By that time, hopefully I'll be ready to start looking at FFS. And then once I have the facial feminization part done and the voice kind of taken care of, I think that's when I can start looking at top surgery, because then all of that will kind of go together.
Sure.
But until then, like having top surgery right now would just be incongruent, especially since I can still grow a pretty decent beard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Bottom is scary, but you need to know what will make you feel comfortable. Scary is it's kind of scary. Like it is the one that is most important to me. If I had the opportunity to do bottom surgery right now, before top surgery and before face surgery, I would totally do it. It is hands down the thing that I hate the most. It is the thing that I am most eager for, and it's the thing that I have to wait the longest for, and it's terrible. It just weighs on me constantly. I'm ready for that weight to be released. And what gets me through this is knowing that there is a moment in time where it will get released. Part of the reason that my surgery date's so far forward is I've opted to go with Dr. Marcy Bowers as my surgeon. And she is one of the best, if not the best, in the country. So she just has a really stupid long waiting list because of it. She's expensive, has a long waiting list, but like she gets amazing results. And it's a one surgery deal as opposed to multiple surgeries, which is also nice. And she has some pretty unique ways of dealing with nerve endings to like make it really line up to where it should. Because the cool and interesting thing is that men and women basically have all the same bits, just in a different location. And so I'm generalizing broad strokes. So she just moves the bits to where they would be, where they should have been to begin with. And off you go. So I'm not scared. I'm more eager. Right?
Yeah.
I think I also understand. And
I mean, any major surgery like that is scary. Don't get either one of us wrong. Even the augmentation, it can be scary. The hair transplant stuff can be scary. Like all of the different
more
things
scared for the hair transplant.
Could be very, very scary all the way around. None of those should be taken lightly at all. However, yeah, I know that's the one you're most looking forward to.
Yep, absolutely, hands down. And it's going to be obscenely painful for a while. I won't be able to sit properly for a few months.
So we're practicing with quarantine.
Actually, that's not an untrue statement. Like I will literally not be able to, I won't be able to work at all, like not even call into work for several weeks.
Yep.
And then beyond that, I'm going to be out of the office for a couple of months,
Yep.
although I'll be able to work remotely.
Mm-hmm.
This last launch is the first time I ever supported a launch not while on a SpaceX console. I have done every single launch for the almost 9 years since Falcon 9 Flight 2. I've done every single launch SpaceX has ever had, healthy or sick, regardless, no matter how I felt. I was there for every single live launch, every single live event, every single massive Elon thing. I was there in E1, in the Engineering 1 console, running that event from an engineering standpoint without fail. I was still there for this last launch, for Starlink Launch 5, or whatever it's called, but I was doing it from home, and I had to remote support from home. I was able to find areas that don't quite work right, like things that I need to fix, but like I see a potential now. Like I'm like, okay, these are the things that I need to fix that I can support the company while I'm out, so I can do what I need to do.
Yeah.
Allow the company to do what they need to do, and not put the company's launches at risk or anything else like that. So we're also cross-training me, and like we're flying people in to learn what I do. It is such an egotistical thing because like they're very quickly learning that it's going to take like 3 or 4 people just to do what I do. And I'm like, I know. You're welcome. So yeah. Brendan, it will be amazing to talk in person. Can't right now, quarantine. But One of the things I actually enjoy is having large gaps of time in between, because every time someone sees me, then I'm different.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's pretty cool. It's fun to see people's reactions. They're like, whoa. Yeah. I'll be in a dress and makeup soon, I think, on camera.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I know.
All right, I think that's about it. Like you've been ready for like the last 10 minutes. So
Long Minnesota goodbye.
long Minnesota goodbye. All right, thank you everyone for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if there's additional content that you guys want to see in the near future. I mean, we're in quarantine, so I am still working at SpaceX during the day. So like I don't have daytime available to me, but you know, nighttime, whatever you want. We get bored. Like this is all the more room we got. So thank you. Enjoy your quarantine, and we'll talk soon. Oh, and remember to post positive stories that you have, fun stories that you have. Make a little YouTube video if you want. Post it in the comments. Email me, jamie@tmro.tv. Post it in the Discord thing from the Tomorrow Channel. So, like, shoot it to me somehow, and we're going to create a video of optimistic, like, positive stories. Something to uplift us during this time of just, like, nothing but COVID news and, like, dark, depressing stuff. Let's get some stories that make people smile and laugh. Let's put those out in the world just to bring us some happiness, right? I think we could all use a little bit of happiness. All right. That's it. See y'all.